And we are back with yet another episode of Bad Rolls, where I can hear myself apparently echoing. But yes, everyone, we are back with yet another episode. We're here for episode 8, continuing the adventure of this party who, I believe it was Flint last week, mentioned, hey, we need a name for ourselves. So maybe that'll end up happening. That very well could end up happening this week as the characters discuss all sorts of different things. But before we get into that, we'll see what's going on with all of the different players. You're live, everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
I mean, exactly.
I can start us off real quick. Episode 3 of the Captain's Table, the Star Citizen podcast that I've been running, is going to happen after the show, and I'm going to have Grakees and Flint will be on there, as well as Fayaste, and Sophie Girl. So we'll be one person down from our normal 6-person cast, but it'll be good.
Yay! More podcasting.
It'll be fun. It's more relaxed, just kind of discussion based. So
for me, as my community knows, I've been kind of on an enforced hiatus for the last couple of weeks because I've been on my relocation to Seattle. But I finally have a PC case to build my gaming PC again. I'll be getting a monitor on Monday, which means I'll finally be able to set up my actual gaming rig and be able to start streaming again, which is going to be epic. So look at that. Also, my t-shirts have started arriving.
Yay!
Although I have to make a quick note, if you're in America and you got one of these t-shirts, you'll notice that the coloring isn't great on the bottom. So they screwed up. But it's cool because Twitch and Teespring are working with me to fix that. And everyone who has received a US t-shirt will be receiving, or hoodie, will be receiving a brand spanking new one, free of charge with fixed printing. So look forward to that.
good on you, Teespring.
Well done, Twitch and Teespring, to correct it. So do we have anything else to announce, everyone?
I'm carrying Flint's child.
Congratulations!
Yes.
Didn't know a halfling male could have a dwarven, a half dwarven, half halfling, a quarterling.
Yeah.
A dwarterling.
Dwarterling.
Half dwarven, yeah, half dwarven, half halfling, a dwarterling. I'm coining this now. I didn't
Has
know
medical
halfling
magic
males.
gone too far?
This is now canon.
Not canon. It's not even a head canon. It's straight up canon.
Yep, just straight up canon. Just straight. No, this is not at all canon. It might be though. You don't know. Who knows where things will go?
Oh, God, I'm gonna have to find some really sick medical magic books and be like, "You gotta read these. You're the only one who can do healing magic. It's a trap."
For Bad Rolls though, the Discord is now open. So I just want to say that out to everyone. The Bad Rolls Discord is open, so if you do ! Bad Rolls in chat, it of course tells you when Bad Rolls is on and also points to the Discord. So join in on that Discord. If there's any fan art that pops up, we have a channel that will be putting fan art in. There's a few pieces in there already. And as well, Bad Rolls will be soon converted into podcast form with 30-minute episodes cut up from our episodes released on a delayed basis behind us. So if anyone wants to get someone into Bad Rolls and they don't really have time to watch the video, though really appreciate if they go check out the videos instead. A little bit different experience, but if they want something to listen to on the way to work, soon they'll have the Bad Rolls podcast so they can follow all of our adventures in audio format. And a big thanks to Dublar Thackeray for setting that up. So I believe that's it for the announcements, and with that, we're going to stay on this little window, so focus on me up here in the corner, everyone, because it's time to recap. Now, when we last followed our adventurers, they were in the city of Caprisi and had just retrieved the item of Thane Bristlebrook. They had then been pulled into a sort of odd party situation in the basement of Majordomo Soludil's manor and started noticing something was off. The partygoers weren't talking. They weren't really interacting, but with Hastur focusing on one of them and sending out a little message with his telepathy, he did notice a reaction from it. Then upon further investigation, they noticed there was an odd tattoo on all of their backs. Finding the situation a little bit out of hand, they decide it's time to take off and leave. Exiting the manor, both in a normal fashion through the door, as well as Carrick and Zangulus deciding to go out through a window because Carrick just seems to like to do things such as that. They get back out onto the streets, and in getting out to the streets, they notice that the party that was in the basement was just the beginning of it. It seemed to start spreading through the city, and as it spread, it went from jovial to almost dangerous riot. Rushing towards the bait and switch inn, where they first went to when they arrived in the city, they found that the inn was actually barricaded from entrance, and that some of the revelry had turned dangerous and people were shouting for drink, trying to get in, and they had tried to keep themselves safe. They gain entrance to the inn, though, with the innkeeper recognizing who they are, and try to save the situation. Zangulus, though, had gone in from the outside, and in doing so, broke a window, leaving it open, unlocking a door and exiting downstairs. The innkeeper, noticing this, rushed upstairs to relock the door, and that was the last they were seen. The party then continues to investigate, finding stumps of some torn legs in the room where the innkeeper was last known to have gone to, trying to come up with some kind of plan to get the hell out of the city and the area. They attempt a rooftop maneuver where Zangulus does not exactly have things go well for them, falling off the roof. But there was enough of a distraction with the drink inside the tavern now being opened up as the party rushed out. They get outside, they head towards the docks, noticing the cloaks and realizing that the jesters were in fact there. They weren't the town guard, and they had connection with them. They were allowed through to find that Erethin was there with the children, along with Marcus. And a ship had been prepared for them, a rather large, nice ship. But something nagged them. And at the very end, they realized Thane was not who he was saying to be. And it was revealed that Thane, with saying to call him Ollie, at least believed to be by the party now, the god Ali Damara of parties, revelry, mischief, and chaos. With that, he smacks Garrett into a wall, leaving him uninjured but humiliated, and takes Nixie with him off somewhere else, leaving the party to board the ship that he said was part of their deal to exit the city and take off. So we start this adventure with the party just having boarded the top deck of this rather large ship here, not exploring it yet, with it being told that it was theirs to use, so.
So we're on the ship.
Yep, you're on this large sailing ship. You were told that has no name to it yet. It's 3-mast, large sails. It appears to have multiple decks just from the way it was sitting at the water, and you could see portholes along the side. You don't know how many decks it goes, since you're just on the top deck right now.
Are there
tons of rigging everywhere? Tons of rigging and rope everywhere.
Excellent. I feel incredibly uncomfortable.
Could we say the ship looks like a carrack? It's a sailing ship.
Eric just looks over at you. That's bad even for me.
Well, I'm gonna go explore and see if there's a galley.
Yeah. I will go look around with a dwarf, and also while I'm looking around, are there any other sailors already on board, preparing the ship to go? Like, where's the crew?
There are several that are scurrying about. You see different races, a couple of dwarves, an elf, mostly humans, and oddly enough, gnomes. You wouldn't think they'd be working the ship, but they seem to be the two largest groups on the ship, and all of them are dressed in the black and white colors that you saw all the rest of the jesters dressed in.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to follow Flint for now, after scoping out the crew.
Everyone else, what are you doing?
I'm training with Marcus.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm having Marcus show me how to better defend myself and try to parry his much bigger attacks.
I'm gonna wander around the ship, but not with Flint.
Okay. And Raven, what are you up to?
I'm also gonna just kind of explore the ship, see if there's any good hidden nooks and crannies around, just places to potentially hide things or things that might be hidden.
Okay, got it. All right, we're going to start with Haster and Flint then. Flint, with Haster behind you, you head below deck. And as you head down, you notice that the stairs, you can lean over the railing a bit. And you can see how deep the ship actually goes. And it appears that there is the top deck that you're in, and then 4 actual full decks underneath it from what you can see where it goes to the very bottom of this ship.
Jesus, it's a cruise liner.
It's a ship of holding.
So this is much larger than anything you've traveled on. Normally, like the largest ships you've encountered up until now have been vessels that were pretty rough passenger travel and were the top deck and then maybe 2 below it, one of them for crew, one of them for the passengers. This thing's pretty luxurious because when you get in there, the wood isn't just functional, it's polished, it's well worked, it's actually got, you know, a little bit of artistry to it carved out into the sides and decoration in the walls. So this thing's pretty fancy. You've seen ships like this off near ports, never been anywhere near one. This is highfalutin, you know, rich people stuff. So it has you a little bit uneasy.
Did we notice? Does it have guns? Did we notice as we were getting onto the boat?
What's a gun?
As in a porthole for like cannons.
You've never seen a cannon before.
Okay. That's fair.
Cannon is a non-existent item to you. It doesn't exist.
Okay.
But it does have some sort of defensive holes on the side near the portholes that you saw, which would typically be used for someone with crossbows or mages, even possibly. Usually there's at least one mage on a ship to defend it, and that's typically how they're defended. You have a mage that usually has some armament with them. Typically fire-based magic.
Were there any deck ballistas, like giant crossbows built onto the deck?
You didn't see anything that looked like a large ballista on here or any harpoon.
This is more situation. Like this is more like the 890 jump, right? Than
that could be how you would describe it then if you want to think about it in that terms. Whatever the hell an 890 jump is, but yes. Yeah, if you're thinking about it in terms like that, it appears to be more luxury than it does defense. So it's really nice. Not a lot of defenses to it though.
All right.
So as Flint, as you look down, you look and you can proceed down the first set of stairs to the first deck, and you come to a doorway there at the stairs, like the one above it where you would have entered through. So you can either continue through that doorway or go further down below deck.
Well, let's have a little look on the way down. A little peek-a-rooney.
All right.
through the door?
Roll me perception.
That would be, I think, 19.
19? All right. It's not too hard to see it. You're still peeking through it as you're kind of just walking quickly, but it does catch your eye. You notice at the far end of the ship down this hallway, which is just door after door, that there's something of a table down at the far end. It seems to have another door that just opens up. That's just sitting open, a set of double doors actually. And you can see something like a long table that could indicate a common area or possibly even a mess.
Okay, we'll go check it out.
I'll follow along.
All right.
I recently had my ass kicked and I'm hungry, so.
As Flint leads the way, noticing the table and catching his eye, you walk down a hallway, which it's actually really nice. It beyond even the areas where you were seeing it before, this area actually has a carpeted middle area. It's got rug that's been tacked in. It's a little unnerving because this is getting into the area of ultra fancy, which none of you
ostentatious wealth.
Very much so.
Like, how do you sell this boat? You know, what are we gonna do with this crazy nonsense?
So
Flint,
as you continue down,
we're rich just being on this boat.
Yeah, well,
Let's find the rich people food on this boat.
yeah, look, there's got to be something here. Where are the kids?
They're upstairs with Lady Earthen making their way on board.
Okay,
Let's
well,
make sure that the galley is safe.
Yeah, we need to poison test food and drink.
Yes.
So is there any doors off of this large room with the table?
as you come down and you get to the large room with the table, it opens up and you look around. There's multiple tables in here now, all set up, and off to the side with metal piping ventilating it is actually a stove set up there. And the fire in it, and Haster, you can tell immediately the fire isn't natural, that it's a controlled magical fire within this stove because it has a greenish hue to it as it flicks. So there's even the stoves in here are pricey and over the top. Everything seems to be over the top and almost taunting you at the size of your purse, that the fact that you were even allowed in here. So you get into that room and it is indeed a full galley, a bar set up along the far wall with nice dark wood, actual bar set up with bottles behind it and taps along the front. A kitchen off to the right-hand side. To the left is a sort of reading area with a couple of small sets of bookshelves with just, you know, general tomes and nice comfortable chairs. So it's sort of an all-purpose galley sitting and common area.
You get the feeling we're being bribed for our conscience, Flint. Because I do, and I'm happy to accept for the time being.
I think you're right. I think. Well, this ain't natural. This doesn't feel like a normal vessel, and we know that.
I'm pretty sure our friend Ollie there is actually a deity, and I'm okay with using his power for our purposes to protect these kids, at least.
Well, as long as the boat doesn't disappear halfway across the ocean, that could be a little bit of a problem. But a deal's a deal, and I mean, it seems comfortable enough.
Yeah, deities, I feel like, generally keep their word if they tell you they're going to do something.
Yeah.
I mean, even this one, he's acting according to his nature. But we made a deal, a solemn promise, and he's going to keep it according to his nature. So we might depart in this fancy luxury cruise liner, but by the time we arrive, we'll be in a dinghy. But we'll still arrive, and the kids will be safe. So let's enjoy the luxury cruise liner part while we're still here.
True enough. Well, I still think we ought to give this place a good look over because we don't want any children running into any surprises.
That's true.
Because I mean, the guy's a trickster.
Absolutely. Should we take a beer for the rest of the exploration?
I think we should. I think we should secure ourselves some libations.
Absolutely. Is there a bartender in here?
Not one currently. The room is just, it's set up to have people actually preparing meals and a bartender, but it doesn't appear to actually have anyone in here right now. It looks like the crew is still getting set up.
I will help myself to behind the bar to just pour us each a beer.
You find a couple of very nicely crafted silver and gold inlaid steins. And you find the taps, and there's 3 listed types. There's a very dark stout, a pale ale, and then something that is listed as a beer of the root.
Beer of the root.
I will take the pale ale.
I'll go for which smells the strongest.
The dark stout, then. You can get over there. So you get one very dark stout and a pale ale for yourself, Haster. And they are fine alcohols. Flint, it's almost not even to your taste from what you've had before. This is even hitting you a little bit. You're used to drinking, but this is strong stuff, and it's really good.
I'm gonna nurse mine real slow.
I could live with this. This is pretty good stuff, but.
All right, so
I mean, is it real though? Is it? Are we gonna? Is this gonna? You know your magical things. If we drink this and it's magical fake drink, will it still sustain us? I have no clue.
I am not 100% certain, but I would venture to guess that it will.
Roll an intelligence check for me.
Need to scroll up on my character sheet. Make sure my bonus is what I think it is. All right. I got a 11 total.
From what you can remember in your readings, there are magical foods. Some of the simple spells, things like good berries, can be summoned, and they can make you quite healthful and are sustaining despite the fact that they are summoned magical items.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, I know of at least one spell a druid could cast that I've never seen our friend do, but she could make berries with just her magic that would sustain us. So it's not really a stretch for me to think that a god who summoned this entire ship would make food and libations to sustain us and get us drunk. What I would recommend, though, is that we make sure we put the steins back, not take anything that doesn't belong to us from this ship until we're more certain of its nature.
Yeah.
On that thought, we better go find Raven real quick.
Yeah, we should have words with our little light-fingered friend.
And with that, we're switching over to Raven's exploration of the ship. So, Raven, we're rewinding a little bit. You watch as Haster and Flint go off to the the front of the ship, and go below deck there. However, as you look around, there's to the back of the ship, there's another set of doors there, as well as what you can see is a cargo loading section in the center. It appears to be some sort of like hatch.
I'll check it out. I like hatches.
Okay, you're gonna go over to the hatch. You can see that there are some people working around this area, and they're calling over what is a rope crane, essentially, with bags and items. And as you approach and they're lowering items in, one of them, a dwarf, reaches his arm out and, "Whoa there! Hold on. Careful around this area, lassie. Just beware." Going in, not a good idea. You ever heard of a bag of holding? This here is like a really big bag of holding. He ain't coming out if you go in.
So, why put things in it if you can't get it out?
We can get him out. People, that's a little tricky.
Okay. Well, you have yourself a good day. I will find somewhere else to explore.
He turns around and puts the fingers in his mouth. I really wish I could do this. Whistles up and then brings over it starts motioning over another crane rope platform, and it lowers in, and you look back and watch. It lowers in, and the barrels are there. You don't see any people below. You just saw darkness when you looked in, and then as it comes back up, the barrels and the sacks that were there, just gone. They disappear, but the crane comes back out fine.
Cool. Well, that's nifty. I want to see if I can find, like, the captain's quarters or whatever. Someplace where things expensive might be.
Looking towards the back of the ship and the double doors you see there, you can see that the helm is the helm and the wheel are right above that area, and there are a large set of double doors back there, so they do catch your eye with some interest as a possible area, but they could also be below deck, so you have the option of either going back there and checking it out or checking out what's actually at the front of the ship where Flint and Haster went.
I'll go in the back and see what I can find.
All right, heading back there. You're walking about the ship. No one's paying too much mind to you, though. They look over and glance, just seeing what the new people are up to. And as you walk back there, you can come up to the double doors. There's actually some glass windowing to it. They're pretty ornate, and when you look inside, you can definitely see what looks to be a large cabin in there, but the glass is kind of that old leaded glass, bubbled a little bit, so it's a little hard to see with just a quick glance without trying to be too obvious, but there's definitely a room in there. You can see sort of the shape of what might be a table and general furniture, but you can't really make out the details just by glancing.
Are the doors locked?
All right, as you go over and check them, the handle rattles and it doesn't turn easily, so.
Okay. I might come back to this. I don't really care to try to pick this door in full daylight, so I'll just leave it be for now.
Okay. Zangulus, we're going to flip over to Zangulus, who decided to go off to explore. You watch as Raven starts walking towards the back of the ship, and knowing her well enough, you've kept an eye just to see what was happening and see her check a door handle real quick. Doesn't really do much. You heard the conversation about the center of the ship and this sort of a bag of holding situation. It recalls some things. Bags of holding are mentioned in general fairy tales and stories throughout the world as just these heroic items where anyone can pull anything out that they want, and they can reach in and, they've got a sword, and now they've got a bow, and now they're these general fairy tale items, but this is the first that you've ever seen something like that in action. That it's pretty powerful magic, and in everything that you've read through your past and in your history of folk tales, specifically the halfling folk tales, it's always been a satchel, not an entire open area where a crane could drop something in. So that makes you a little bit more wary about the situation. But you also saw Haster and Flint disappearing below deck up front, so where are you going?
I'm looking around the ship, nodding my head. Just the ship. Seems like a really good ship. A little strange with that middle part, but I like it. I like the ship. I see what Raven's doing with the door there and say, you might as well open it. They said it was our ship. It's not like we need to tippy-toe around.
How many people are milling about?
Up top on the deck, between the people operating the different cranes and the people working the different ropes and setting up the sails to leave, there's a couple of dozen people actually operating up on the top deck right now, just scurrying about, preparing the ship to sail.
I kind of want to go up to one of them and say, so who's the captain on this fine vessel?
You walk over and you grab the nearest person working about, and it's a small, well, even for a gnome, small, pretty short, gnomish man. And as you look about, you notice all of them are men that you've seen so far. You haven't actually seen any women on the ship other than Erethan and a few of the small girls, but you grab him by the shoulder and stop him. Yes, can I help you?
Who might the captain be on this fine sailing vessel?
We have no need of one. It goes wherever it's been told to go.
How do you tell it where to go?
Yeah.
Thane, he always sets a destination and off we go. We're just waiting on him.
That's a little frustrating.
So does he have a magic command word or something that he uses, or is there a button to push, or like does he just speak it aloud?
All we know is he does something with a map in the room there, and away we go. We just need to work all the sails. It steers itself, though. It still takes maintenance and work like a ship, but the steering itself, we've never actually had someone at the helm.
Interesting.
Yeah. That is very strange.
I have things I need to be doing. The ship still needs preparation, and like I said, we're waiting on Thane, and he's jovial, but if we screw something up, the punishments are harsh. So I need to get back to work, and well, enjoy looking around. He did say you have access.
All right, cool. Thank you for your time.
Right. Walks off.
I
Are
really
they
think
all
we need
gnomes?
to get that room.
Like, are all the workers gnomes? I know you said they're all men.
Majority were gnome and human, with a couple of dwarves and an elf that you saw.
Okay.
I think we need to get into that room. And I think we might need to get Haster in there too to take a look at that map.
I can help with that. And I'm assuming the room that they're talking about was the one that I just tried to open.
That's what I'm talking about, yeah.
Okay.
That's where
Yeah.
he motioned to, yeah.
Okay. I will go back up to the door and see if there's any way I could pick the lock.
As you walk up to it and check the doorway, move the handle a little bit, it appears to be a regular lock from first glance, but roll an investigation.
Uh, 9.
It looks like a regular lock. You're looking at it. As far as you can tell, it's pretty normal.
All right. I will pull out my thieves' tools and try to pick my way in.
Okay.
13.
All right, you get your thieves' tools out and start working on it. And as you do, because you're doing this out right in daylight, you haven't really tried to conceal it. One of the humans rushes over to you. Hey! What do you think you're doing?
We're trying to get into the captain's quarters.
That there is Thane's room.
We were told this is our ship.
We were told you were allowed on this ship. Not that it
We were
was
told-
yours.
We were told by Thane that this ship is ours.
Right. Yeah. You have any proof of this?
Only his word. And the fact that we're here.
Like I said, he said you were allowed on it to us. Not that it was yours.
Is there any other way into this room so we can take a look at it?
Thane's room. Thane has access. Wait for him.
Alright.
Now, come on, let's go. And he starts standing between you and the door and ushering you towards the other end of the ship and pointing at the door that goes below deck.
Alright. I'll head
Okay.
towards that door.
I will follow.
I think we need to find the others.
All right. So now we're going to go over to Garrett. You're standing up on the top deck there with Marcus, just kind of looking out over the ocean. So, you wanted to learn to fight. Seems we got some time.
Would be a good idea because Seune seems to require more of me than I originally thought she would. I am a man of healing, a man of love, a man of beauty. But I seem to be also a man who constantly requires protection. I would prefer that I protect myself from now on. And you, my friend, are how I'm going to do that.
All right, so you're sure you want to learn how a fight's really done then?
Yes, my friend. And I know my face will regret this, but yes. Yes.
As you're midway through that sentence and he finished saying how a fight's really done, pulls his sword out and immediately brings it down in a swing right away, catching you completely off guard.
Okay.
What's your AC?
18.
Just hits. Large sword comes arcing down at you. You try to get your shield up in the way and block it from doing anything. However, he gets just past it and catches you right as you think he's going to go right for your shoulder and neck. He pivots it along the side and catches you with the flat of the blade across the ankles, knocking your feet out from under you and actually hurting your leg quite a bit. So you are knocked prone and you take 4 points of damage.
All right. Hold on. Ugh. Oh, by the way, my AC is, well, depends if my AC is higher or not from last session.
Your AC wouldn't have gone up.
From leveling?
Leveling doesn't up your AC, just your hit points.
No, I mean my HP. That's what I meant to say.
Oh, your HP's where it was at.
What's your
Oh,
max
did-
HP now?
Did you up your HP when you leveled to 3?
Yeah. That's what I mean. My max HP increased
Okay.
To
What is
what?
it?
to 17.
Oh yeah, we already had that.
Okay. I saw 13 on the screen, which is the reason why.
Yeah, you already
13's
injured.
your current.
Okay, gotcha. All right. So
It's now 9.
with that, I take out my shield, or I pull out my mace, and I
Roll initiative.
okay. Oh, 1. So 3. I really need training.
I rolled a 3, so I still beat you out somehow.
Yep.
So he's being caught on the ground now, behind, flat-footed, left you a little bit slower than you expected to even get a chance to get out of the way, so he brings his sword up and goes for another swing straight on the ground. However, you get your shield up at the last second, and the blade comes down, but you notice, as he's bringing the blade down, the flat of the blade again, and it just slams across your shield. You stop the blow, but there is really hefty force behind it.
Okay. So I scramble up, and I take a swing at him.
All right, go ahead. Take a swing.
All right, 15 plus 4, so 18?
That'll
19,
hit.
19.
That'll hit.
All right. I'm doing, I'm not trying to kill him. I'm trying to, hit, because it's a mace. It's hard to,
you can
do
pull back on it. You can do non-lethal. Yeah, I got you.
I'm not trying to kill him. I'm just trying to hurt him. 4 points of damage.
All right. Bringing your mace around real quick as you're standing up, using the shield for leverage, you swing and you catch him right across the thigh. He actually grunts a little bit. Ugh. Looking down at you, now got a big smile. Yeah, that's right. Get into it, halfling. We're gonna whip you into shape. And with that, brings his sword down again, but you can see he's really pulling back on his shots, giving you a chance to get your shield in the way, get you used to the timing, so you get your shield back up there again, and it slides you back a good foot with the contact, but it isn't causing you any pain or damage at this point.
Okay. Alrighty, so with that, I kind of brush myself off, and I do a little bit of my halfling war cry, and I charge straight at him, swinging my mace, my mighty halfling mace, and missing horribly. That would be an 8.
With your war cry yet again, you rush forward, you swing the mace again, trying to hit him in the leg, causing repeated damage there, but seeing this and the fact that you screamed before you announced your attack, he just sidesteps you and swats you across the ass real quick with the sword. Just looks at you and goes, "Try harder, don't announce your attack." Though that was funny as hell. Raven and Zangulus, now you see Marcus and Garrett starting a bit of a fight off to the side. A couple of the crew are starting to gather around now, and you hear shouts of, "I got 2 gold on the little one!" "Yeah, I'll take that. 5 gold on the big one." And now they're starting to stop their work a little bit, and they're betting on this fight here.
The heck is going on over there?
I don't know, but I kind of want to watch. I'll make my way over and try to find something high to sit on, like some barrels or ropes or something, and just have a seat and watch.
Do we hear the ruckus from down below deck?
Roll me a perception check, the two of you, because you said you were starting to head back up.
Got a 18.
10.
Flint, you don't hear it, but Haster, you definitely hear it. You hear the wait, you never actually heard the war cry before. You just hear a high-pitched "Ah!" as...
Hold on.
Thank you. You hear that muffled, though. It's a muffled sound through the doors, but... You hear that coming from above you on the top deck. You don't know quite what's going on, but you can hear footsteps starting to, stomp towards a section of the ship. Yep.
Sounds like there's some hubbub up above. Let's move a little quicker here. Get out there and see what the hell's going on. I think there might be a seal being murdered on deck or something. I'm not really sure what that sound was. It was a little high-pitched, squealy, but I couldn't quite catch it. And now there's people running towards it I can hear, so let's get up there.
Okay. Pull out my axe and prepare myself and head up.
At that moment, Marcus takes another swing at you. He's going for your legs again. but you were ready for it this time, and you do a little, even though you have your heavier armor on and you're a little bit smaller, you're able to hop over it. And you can tell that he has slowed the blade way down, that if he really was aiming and trying, things would probably be going a bit worse. But he seems to be giving you chances here, even though he's putting weight behind it.
All right, I'm gonna look at him and say, "Do not hold back. If I just do not kill me,
You
please
sure?
do not hold back. This will not help me if I am not preparing myself. I need to learn not to be cuddled."
All right, and with that, he goes back, and before you can react, he's actually taking a second attack. He's going into a stronger one, and
Oh no!
Crit.
You said don't hold back.
I
Crit.
don't know if I have any heal spells right now.
Well, I don't think he's gonna kill me. I just don't want him to hold back from his punches.
Well, if he doesn't hold back from the punches, he will kill you.
Yeah.
with you saying don't hold back, as the blade comes under your feet and you're hopping up in the air quicker than you can even notice it, the blade comes back up. As you're saying don't hold back, it's next to your head now, and you feel the flat of it just smack, doing 16 points of damage, and you just stand there for a second and crumple to the ground. You said don't hold back. He's whoops.
Expecting that.
Yeah.
I guess we're merging at this point.
He just kind of looks around sheepishly, noticing now the entire group of people watching, and reaches into a pouch real quick, kind of fumbles around, and pulls out a red potion and goes, "He's not dead. It's the flat of the... He'll be fine." Pours it down your throat real quick, and you come to with a really ringing headache. He looks at you and goes, sorry. It you challenged me, and, well...
Could somebody please stop the bells? Where are these bells? Why are they ringing so loud? Sayuna, protect me. What are these bells?
Flint and Haster, you get on deck just as you see a crowd of the sailors there erupt into a cheer, and you see Marcus, but through the crowd a little bit, but you can see Marcus standing over something and looking all sheepish and pulling out a very familiar looking red potion and pouring it somewhere down on the deck. Raven and,
I am also
Zangus, you can see this happen clearly. You heard the challenge and just watched Marcus just knock him flat out.
Shaking my head.
I barge through the crowd to see what's going on.
All right. Well, what's happening? I thank you for not holding back. We will do this for a while. Yes, I need to learn. I need to become better.
How many hit points did you get back?
Like 5, right?
No, I just checked it. He got 13 back.
Okay.
Good.
He used a slightly better potion on you than you guys are used to.
Why am I awake?
The red stuff makes people not hurt.
No. Don't kill me, but let me rest on my own and get better, and then we do it. Okay, so I think that's enough for today for me. But
I wasn't gonna hit you again. I wanted you. I felt bad, so I won't do it.
No, my friend, I do not want you holding back. I want you to hit me as hard as you can, but not now. Soon.
It'll be fun. And with that, yeah, I should probably check on the kids, who are all sort of standing off to the side, and some of them are kind of giggling and pointing at you. You being about the same height as them, and some of them are curious, not all having seen halflings, and they're like, "Why was that kid fighting him? We wouldn't fight Marcus. He would beat us."
I look around and go, "Show's over, folks. Show's over. You can see it later."
Some of the crowd
and I would fight this man again soon. Just the rematch, the rumble on the ship, the rumble on the tumble. Yes, I am not a bard, but
At that moment, speaking of the bard, you look around and wonder where he is, and you don't see him right away, but then you notice him tucked over in a corner of the ship, and despite the fact that you're still docked, it's the slight moving of the ship. Every time the ship moves just a little bit, you watch him just bend over the railing and...
Doesn't have sea legs, I guess.
It's a sight that warms my heart.
So are my party members watching me? What's happened? You guys were all there?
As you look around, you
I was.
notice that Raven and Zangulus very much were watching you, and Flint
Had
and
my
Haster
arms folded,
just
shaking
came
my head.
rushing up as you were getting back up from the ground.
Okay, I look at the rest of the party and be like, next time, just watch, okay? I am trying to become better. And if you do not bet on me, I will not heal you.
I will bet on you,
want.
but I don't have much money, so you better start winning, because
I'm betting against him.
You will not get hits.
So, Raven, I don't mean to sound like I don't trust you, but let's make a deal not to steal anything from this ship in a permanent fashion. We can borrow things and utilize the hospitality of the ship, but don't take anything. I don't think it will be safe in the long run.
Oh, also, is there any crew members around me, Grakees?
There's a few. They've started to disperse now after exchanging some gold between each other's hands. Some of them looking over at you and just going like upset over the fact that they bet, and some of them giving him crap like, really, you thought he would win?
I go to the one that wasn't doing the like angry that I'd lost, and I say,
Do you have any items that I can process things with?
What are you on about?
What do you say? Like a
How hard did he hit you in the head?
No. It just more than pistol is what you call it. Is the,
Mortar and pestle, yeah.
yes. I need one of those.
Alchemy shop. I mean, wait. Not
You got
sure
a kitchen?
if They have a general kitchen. I'm not sure if they have one of them stampy things. I'm pretty sure that's what you're talking about.
Yes.
I've seen
the
them when
stampy
I've had to
things,
get the
stampy.
medicines.
I need the stampy.
There might be something below deck. I haven't gone looking for it. I normally look up here in the rigging.
Excellent. Let's see. Hastur.
Yeah.
I have these Minotaur genitals balls that I have plans for. I need your help. You are magic and that sort of thing, right?
Yeah, I know some magic things. I might need your help with something as well, but
Minotaur,
not right
what?
now.
Do not worry, my friend. It is. I guarantee you that if you want to make passionate, furious love to a beautiful woman, next time you're on shore, I will have something for you that will make you go all night, every night, for like a month. But
I am intrigued, Garrett.
I need your help, Pastor.
Garrett, okay.
Roll me a quick persuasion.
that is what I'm good at. 18.
With that, he kind of goes over to you. When will you have this stuff ready?
Give me a week.
Promise I can be the first customer?
For the right price, maybe.
Pulls out 5 gold real quick and slaps it into your palm. Give
look
me a
at it and go,
dose.
This is a little light, my friend. A little light. Just a little.
Just put
Garrett,
me in the
I think he's just reserving his spot in line.
Okay. Oh, all right. If you just as a down payment for the first, yes, I will give you my friend. Yes. So tell your friends. Sayune is going to bring the love of all of the beautiful women to you. And men. I'm not here
I
to
noticed
judge.
the symbol. I know what your god's on about, and I approve. And he walks off.
I have the ways.
He walks off. A little bit of bounce in his step to it.
Okay, so Garrett, what's my cut on this process?
I give him.
And what do I need to do?
I give him 3 gold of the original, and I say, okay, you and I are going to make a elixir. Okay.
And I get really close and I go, it probably won't work at all. But you say Minotaur balls. And you say Seune, and people will fucking go crazy for that shit. Now, my cut is not for me. It's just for the good of everyone. We'll find the children's and the women's and the poor and the downtrodden, and we will give some of this money to them because they need the money. But the people with the money, if they are stupid, they will buy these. And I need you to help me make it flashy.
I'll do my best. Yeah. I like this plan.
Yes,
I have a very good idea for how to make it flashy.
Let us retire to the kitchen in a few. And
Yeah. Excellent. So Raven, no stealing items, but fleecing the crew is completely acceptable.
Pardon me, sir. I don't steal, okay? I tidy up things that won't be noticed.
I think everything on this ship might be noticed if it goes missing, though, because the one who owns it is definitely a god of some sort. So let's use his hospitality as thoroughly as we like, but not take any of his property. I think that might step beyond the bonds of our deal that we had, that we would get a ride safe.
I will agree to this if you give me a cut of your little fleecing venture.
I'll give you a cut if you help us with the deal. I mean, you could attest to the quality of the lovemaking of somebody else who would use this potion, and tell them that you'll never be with a man who doesn't use one of these potions again. Although you have to make it very clear that you're not interested in any of the men here before you do that, because otherwise you're gonna have a bad time.
If she wants to do that, she can do that. Okay, Sayune does not judge these, but
yeah, well, I mean, it's up to you. I would recommend not getting involved with swarthy pirates.
Also, I look at Flint. You do not judge. This is how I got you. How I fixed your axe. That one time.
That's a good point. Did I have I still got that massive Minotaur axe?
You still have it.
Around.
You still have it.
Yeah.
Good.
All right, I will hand one of the
It's been
3 gold
strapped to her
pieces
back.
that Garrett gave to me to Raven.
I take it. Thank you. I will be happy to aid you in your quest.
Well, we're gonna need money when we get to the capital, right? This is for the good of the children.
For the children.
For the children, right?
We're doing a lot of weird stuff for the children.
These are not normal children.
Take the Minotaur's balls for the children.
Yes. I will add that into the spiel that all proceeds go to the children.
As you hear that out
of
loud,
orphanages.
as you say the Minotaur's balls for the children, you just hear off to the side and look over and see Aerothan standing there going, come children, this isn't polite conversation. We'll find you some rooms below deck. And she just kind of gives you the stink eye.
I look at her and
by.
go, it is for the children.
Right.
The end justifies the means, right?
Hey, you know what? She is of very, very good God.
And very, very good God is kind of stupid at times.
So I say we retire to the kitchen and find something with which we can render those balls into useful potion.
Yes, let us cook. Let us cook. Hastur, let us cook.
Okay, yeah, I'm ready. So
I will go with them as well. I'm curious about this process. I know nothing about it myself, but I like to know things.
I'm gonna sip on my beer out of my really fancy stein a little more as we walk back to the kitchen.
As you're heading that direction, you can see crews starting to head below deck a bit, and you notice that they're pulling back the plank. The sun is actually starting to set off behind the mountains now, casting a deep golden red color across the sky, and you can hear a bell ringing now. You hear ringing starting from below deck. Everyone's on board! Set sail! That catches your attention, Raven and Zangulus, because as that happens, the sails unfurl and the ship actually starts to shift. And you look back because of the conversation you had. The helm's steering. No one's there.
Guess the ship really is sailing itself.
It's a neat trick.
Thane must be here.
Or at least given instructions to the ship.
True. He can kind of go where he excuse me, where he wants to, so he can just pop in and out probably at will.
I imagine he can. He's given me a very interesting little touch of portal magic. I would like to look around this ship more if we get the chance, but for now we have some potions to make, and I would like to maybe eat something that's not made of Minotaur balls for dinner.
Do not eat the Minotaur balls. Do not. I have no idea if this is good for you.
You can eat most things, balls. I don't know about Minotaurs. I don't think they're poisonous, though. So.
Why do you know that?
I mean, they're basically cows, right? Like, cows aren't poisonous. People aren't poisonous. Minotaur is a cow person. Why would they be poisonous? I'm just guessing here. I don't know for a fact. I've never eaten Minotaur or Minotaur balls before.
This whole conversation is just wrong. So I'm gonna go drink my ale and find somewhere to get my head down. Because honestly, it's been a long bloody day and I'm pretty bloody knackered. So I'm gonna get some sleep. Give me a shout if anything goes wrong.
Will do.
And I go off with my ale to try and find somewhere to get my head down.
Yeah, I go grab some food and head with Hastur to the kitchen.
Okay.
Right.
So
you head down one deck and follow Hastur down the hallway now, Hastur having seen it before. And as you go down the hallway, you can see Erethan, who'd gone before you, is opening up a couple of the rooms just off the main hallway. And as you walk by, and it's a pretty decent sized hallway, you can see that there are really fine rooms in there. And the ones she's opened up appear to be purpose-made specific for the kids. I would have thought that for a ship, but there are bunk beds in there, though very nice. And the furniture in there is very nice. And there appear to be almost like tin toys set up on some of the bedside table between the two sets of bunk beds in there. So you catch that at a glance as you walk by.
we should go find our rooms too. Maybe there will be a room that's got a better alchemy kit than we find in the kitchen. But first, food and drink.
Yes, let us food and drink, and then try to find. He is the god of all things party, so he might enjoy the party of the chemicals.
You know what would be wild is if we make this stuff and it actually works.
It could work. I don't know.
That would be something.
If it works, then we charge double. That's how this works.
Okay.
Trust me, my friend, I have done this before. I have done this many times before. Not with Minotaur balls, but with other things. Yes. I've done this before.
All right, good. I think I can, as long as I'm there when you're selling it to the individual, I can put a little sparkle on it, make it look a little extra juicy, you know.
And you know what? It's 9 times out of 10. My experience is it works. I mean,
no one comes back to bother you.
Say when they bless me that they think that they think it works, so it works.
All right. Well, here we have the kitchen. There's a bar over there. Feel free to help yourself because there's no bartender in here. I did.
All right, I'm just gonna grab some food. No, I do not drink and cook. It's not a good combination.
As you walk into this area now, you can see that there are indeed a couple of the crew members that are in the kitchen now, bustling about and starting to pull out stocks of food. There's a slide almost on the back wall that they pop open, they reach inside, and then they pull out food. And then when they walk back over, pull out more food. So they're prepping, and there's another crew member, the tall elven one, who's actually standing behind the bar now and is back there. Marcus is actually up at the bar, and you can see he's downing a couple of drinks from a rather large tankard. It's about twice the size of the one that you had, Aster.
Yeah, I'm not trying to get blasted drunk or anything. I'm just having a beer. I will walk over to the bartender. You weren't in here earlier, so we helped ourselves. I hope that's all right.
It would have been nice if you'd waited, but amenities are included, so you're allowed to have most access to the ship, from what we've been told.
Well, wasn't locked in here, so I figured we were okay since you weren't here. But since you are here, could you give me another one of these when I finish this one? And I'm gonna try to chug that one down,
right away.
And then I'm just gonna super slow nurse the next one.
Cleans out a glass real quick, reaches over, pours, puts it from the tap. Perfect pour, just a little bit of head of foam on it for look, but nothing more than that. Puts it down on the bar in front of you, and then turns around and continues to work.
Alrighty, I will finish my one that I had and leave the empty one there and grab the new one, and then take that one to go stand next to Garrett and see what he's doing.
All right, so here's what I'm doing. I am going to try to find lard.
Okay.
And I'm going to use the lard put it in a cooking pot. Take some of the Minotaur balls out. Find some way of cutting it up, knives or whatever, and try to dice it up as small as possible. These testicles, and try to render them in with the lard at first to try to kind of make some sort of viscous fluid with them.
Okay, well, as you go to enter the kitchen and try to concoct this idea that you've come up with, the two crew members in the kitchen currently turn over to you. Hi, out of kitchen.
I cannot
cooking.
When can I use the kitchen?
Later, when we're done, we gotta feed the crew and well, you folk.
Okay. So, I go find Haster and explain this. They are using the kitchen for food, so we cannot make.
Well, did you find out how long it is till the food's done?
Soon.
Okay. All right. Well,
I will. We should probably wait. I will wait by the kitchen.
You want to go scope out and find our rooms? I got some books that I'm carrying around that I'd rather set down than keep lugging around.
I should
probably be a good idea to brush stuff down.
Yeah. Let's just find some moves.
All right. We'll come back and use the kitchen up.
All right.
All right.
So
Yeah, so we're looking. We're gonna go look for some rooms.
Head back towards the rooms.
as you walk out to the hallway, there are the first two rooms that are at the far end now from where you're standing on your right. They would be on the left as you come out the door. Those were the two rooms that the kids went into, and you saw Aerothin and Marcus go in there with the kids. There are 3 more doors down on that side, and then 5 across the hall from them that you haven't seen opened yet.
All right, let's start opening them up. So there's 2 directly across from the 2 that the kids are in, right?
Yeah.
Let's go open those 2 first. So we'll open the first one as we come out of the kitchen. This cat in my lap is not gonna happen. See it, buddy?
The first ones, as you come out of the kitchen area, are all the way down at the opposite end of the hall from where the kids' rooms were.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll just hit whatever's the next room after the kids' room then.
Okay, the way it's laid out is you have the doors here, where my thumbs are, where you entered into the hallway, and up here is the kitchen area. The kids' rooms are down here.
Okay. All right, so we're on the other side of the hallway. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
so you're all the way up here. The kids' rooms are down here, so if you want to go across, you got to go to those rooms. These first 2 rooms, you haven't seen.
All right, well, let's just hit the one on the left then.
Okay. As you walk up to that door, opens right up. And
Alrighty.
when you look inside, it's a nicely furnished room. It's got a large bed to it that looks plush, fine furnishings of oak, and really, really nice coverings to the bed that appear to be made of a very fine material. You're not sure if silk or cotton, but
Dibs? I think dibs on this room. I want this one. I'll go in and set my books down on the bed.
I'm gonna laugh at you if the next room looks better.
If there's one with a library, I'm gonna change.
Did I find the room as well? Just seems I already went off for a little wander.
As you walk off now, if you wanted to explore the rooms, which one are you looking in?
Like the closest unoccupied door.
That'd be on the right then. As you watched Haster go to the left, you go into the right, and as you look across the hall, it's a mirror version of the room across the hall. But it's got fine furnishings, the same open setup.
After all the ragings of the day, I'm shattered. So I basically just do a almost my side face plants onto the bed and start snoring.
And it is a soft bed at that. Much softer, actually, than you're used to having access to. Even when you've stayed in a tavern, it's not this nice.
Yeah. If I wasn't so tired, I might have had umbrage with it being too comfortable, but I'm just shot.
I'm gonna turn to Garrett and be like, well, it looks like we've already lost Flint, but if he hadn't gone and passed out in another room, I almost would have suggested that he stay in one of the rooms across from the children, from where we saw the kids going in. They trust him, and he would be good to be close to them.
I could stay. They do not really know who I am, and they don't really like me, but I am there to protect.
Somebody needs to stay close to them, that's for sure.
I will do that. I will do that. So
I think it's best for me to stay far from the children.
So I go to one of the rooms. Is there any unoccupied rooms near the children, like directly across from the children? Or
You didn't see them open those doors open when you were down there, but you can walk down, and as you go, and check the first door that would be across from where the kids were put into a room. As you open that door, you can see now, when you open that door, a large sword propped up against the bed in there.
Okay. So that's Marcus's room. I close the door and I go to the next door.
The other one across the hall from the kids, when you open that door up and look inside, you can see finally, now polished and cleaned up a little bit, armor with the dragon symbol on it that appears to be Erethan's.
Is there any other room on that side, or is that it?
There's another room not directly across, but there's 2 more rooms that are one on the same side as the kids, just past them, and then another one that would be next to Marcus's, then 2 more rooms, and then Haster and Flint.
Okay, I'll go to the one next to Marcus's.
Okay.
Is that occupied?
You go next to Marcus's room there, you check, you look, you don't see anything in there. It's finely furnished, the same as the other ones that you walk past and when you looked in their rooms. So it appears to be unoccupied.
All right, so I'll give the high sign to Zangulis and just point at the room and walk into that room and start disrobing in terms of my armor, because my armor is heavy, and changing out of my armor and into my fine clothing that I have. I no longer have priest clothes because I ruined them.
That'll take you about the next 10 minutes then.
Yeah, it takes a while.
Switch up. Yep. What's everyone else doing?
I am going to grab a piece of chalk, my big piece of chalk, and I'm going to write my name on the door in fancy script. And then I'm going to go to the door that Flint's at and write Flint on the door in fancy script. And then I'm going to go down to Garrett's door and write Garrick on the door in fancy script. And I'm going to label everyone's room so that we know who lives where.
I'll watch and be like, Flint can't read, right?
Yeah, but we can.
How many of these sailors do you think can read?
Who cares if the rest of them can read? This is so we don't walk in on each other or get confused.
Are
you worried that we're going to walk in on you doing something?
Yes, always. Now, if you know how to draw a picture of a dwarf face on Flint's door, and I'm going to hand the chalk to you. But be careful, this is my only piece of chalk right now, and I'm going to need it.
Okay. I will. I'll draw a big mohawky dwarf frowny face on the door. Hand it back to Haster.
That is excellent. I am not as good at drawing as I wish I was. I'm going to go back into my room and close the door behind me.
Are the rest of you scouting out other
There's
rooms?
2 rooms
or
left,
you...
right?
I'll pick a room.
I'll come back out in a minute after I've finished setting my shit out and setting down on my crap that I don't want to carry anymore.
3 rooms left.
Okay, I'll go into one of the empty rooms, drop my bag, my stuff, but keep one of my swords on my side.
You see Carrot coming down the stairs now, looking very green, not really even hand over mouth. Looks around, notices that there's marked up on, he checks the first door immediately as he goes in, kind of looks around, closes it, shakes his head, goes across the hall, starts looking. So you watch him as he's very slowly and kind of tipping back and forth, and now you can feel the ship actually starting. It's really starting to move and rock as it's now starting to hit open seas.
I've just noticed the music is super jaunty sea tune. I'm loving it, man. Perfect. Has he got vomit on him?
There's a little bit down the front.
Oh, all right. I'm gonna walk up to him and be like, "You're a mess, man," and I will press to digitate the vomit off of him and just lead him into one of the unoccupied rooms and lay him down.
You take him because you know where the unoccupied ones are, and you just lead him between yours and Garrett's room and just kind of push him off in there. Zangulis, you're next to Flint. Raven, there's one that's now left after seeing that, so...
His door is going to be labeled Seasick Bard.
Quarantine. Yeah, I'll pick my room and make sure it has a secure lock on it.
When you get in there, you're able to actually lock the door behind you.
Not that it would keep me out, but, you know.
At least, hopefully, the rest of us are going to be too loud to get in, right?
Yeah. I'm gonna check my room and see if there's any loose floorboards or places to hide things.
Wait, roll an investigation check for me.
Yeah, 7.
Looking around the room, it's pretty pristine. This is really a well set up ship, and it's quite fancy. So you don't really notice anything in the way of outright hiding spots or loose floorboards. But in checking one area, you do notice there is sort of a storage spot that's out of the way, off in the corner behind one of the tables, that if you pull it out a little bit, it's got a latch on it, so if anyone's looking for it, they'll notice it. But it's a little more hidden than other spots, and it's got a spot that it's got a lock hole on it with a key just sitting in there.
Oh. I'll check it real quick. Is there anything in it?
When you open it up, it's empty. It looks like an extra storage spot that's just a little out of the way, sort of like a room safe, but it's not made of metal or anything. It's just an extra storage that can be locked up.
That's cool. I will, I'll leave it be for now, but I'll keep it in mind in case I have anything I need to deposit later. And go have a sit down on the bed.
Sorry, I'm just getting... Hold on, I gotta check something with your mics, everyone, real quick.
Okay.
Yeah, with you, Zangulus, your mic's coming in almost like wind is blowing through it right now. Getting a little bit louder.
It might be because there was wind blowing through it.
I live in Arizona. Come on.
I mean, that's fair.
Is that better?
Cool.
Yeah, it's for everyone's ears in the podcasting later.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
Yeah. So after I've like gotten all of my stuff off me that I don't need, I'm gonna have my arcane orb, which is my like spellcasting focus, and my clothes on, and I'm gonna go back to the kitchen. But I've just got the orb because like I don't ever really go anywhere without it.
All right.
Yeah. I'm also gonna head back to the kitchen.
Okay, as you're heading back to the kitchen, you can smell now different foods being prepared, and it's meats and vegetables and stews. It's pretty fine cooking from what you can smell of it, and it looks like a pretty good spread's being prepared, but it's not ready at this time.
Awesome. Well, I'm gonna continue to slowly nurse that beer that I have and wait for food to be ready. Well, sitting in the kitchen, or not in the kitchen. In I guess the galley is more correct, but in the mess.
Yeah.
That's the term I'm looking for. The mess.
Sit down, fold my arms, wait.
So
Everyone else
Zangulus.
went to sleep, so
Zangulus.
Yes.
We know each other from long, long back.
I remember you from when I was a child, yes.
A little less technically than I think.
I've face before.
So it's been 100 years. I'm still having a little.
Over 100 years, I think.
Oh, yeah.
It was a while ago.
Yeah. You know, so for me, I was pretty sure it was only like maybe 20 or so years since the orphanage. Yeah. So what's been happening in this world for the last 100 years? Because I was what I thought was 20 years. I was out. So what happened to I don't know, the government in the last 100 years? Have you been paying attention to any of that?
I've been living in the forest. I really haven't been paying attention. I don't know why I'm getting an echo.
Yeah, I think I'm getting an echo too.
Oh yeah.
I think it's Flint again.
Yeah, it's Flint.
Shouldn't be me. But you're really, really quiet.
Test.
All right. Test. I think it is Flint.
Yeah, I think Flint just has to like make some sound every once in a while, or his mic starts picking up everything.
Yeah.
I shall make more noise.
Being too quiet.
Make random
Okay.
crunch noises.
I don't know that it's working.
Yep. Yeah, technical difficulties, everyone.
How about now?
Test.
Talkie.
Yeah, a little bit
Still
still.
Yeah, it comes in pretty loud now. All of a sudden, it wasn't before.
Yeah, it was weird. Oh god, I hate hearing myself.
I know, right?
Yeah, I honestly don't know why it's doing that all of a sudden.
Well,
The seas outside are rocking.
yeah.
Testing.
Test.
Testy, test. Woo!
That sounds better.
That's much better.
Still a problem?
Yeah, that
No.
seems to be good now.
Yeah.
I think we're good now.
That's bizarre.
Yeah. All right, cool. Anyway,
Yeah.
So-
back.
so Zangulus, you kind of disappeared from the world in your own way too, huh?
I did. I left the orphanage of my own accord and found a nice halfling family to take care of me.
You want to go back when we get to the capital? Check it out. Have you been back?
I only go back every once in a while, and I don't even really go in. I do fur trading with them, basically, with the people on the outsides, outer rim of it.
Stupid Garrett and his damn do it for the children. I feel guilty fleecing these people and not at least going to give some money back to where I, as far as I know, was born. So if you know where it's at still, I'm going to be lost in the city, I think, more or less. We should go by and give them a couple gold pieces. I know it'll do a lot more for those kids than it would for me. And I mean, maybe we can get rid of these other kids we're hauling around at a place that we know is pretty safe.
Actually, that's
Or was.
half an idea. If we could find the orphanage again, it would at least be a place to hide because there's already kids there.
Yeah, and the priestesses there were pretty protective of us kids in the first place, if I recall correctly. So, which I kind of don't trust my memory of that time very well anymore. Now that you've told me it's been 100 years or more, a little. Okay, cool. So that's a good plan though for when
We
we
could
get there.
probably even disguise Lady Arethan if we need to there. So
Yeah.
that's really not a bad plan.
I bet you she'd get along well with those priestesses too.
Hopefully.
Okay. Got some good plans.
Getting the severe echo again.
That echo is like.
Echo.
Yeah, I'm gonna run and get a headset. I'm gonna mute myself until then. So let me open up my thing.
Well, Flint's
Flint is
passed
having
out, so it's perfect.
I'm having technical issues. Let me just mute myself. I'll go get a headset.
You are muted.
Live shows, everyone. Live shows. You don't get this anywhere else.
Yeah. Well, we'll cut that in the second take. Oh wait, this is live. Oh shit.
Screw it.
Yeah.
And this is going to be in the VOD too. Too bad. So
Oh,
back
well.
to Zangulus and Aster.
Okay, so I imagine everyone else will probably be on board with this plan of taking them to a safe orphanage that we both know of. I don't know anything else about the capital, really, like, currently, so...
I really didn't keep up on it, so I know some of the fur traders.
Well, it's better than knowing nobody.
That is true.
Okay. Well, I wonder what's for dinner. Let's go hassle these guys and see what they've got. All right, and at that, I'm gonna jump up and go try to hassle the kitchen guys and see if they've got anything that's ready to eat yet.
Getting an echo off you too, Zangulus.
Oh, really? That's weird.
That's why it was so loud. It was echoing off you and then back through Flint and was causing feedback.
The double echo.
Echo, 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 echo.
Better now? Yes. Okay. I think we're okay.
All right.
Yeah. Alrighty. I still echo. My voice just carries too well.
It does, apparently.
So, do these kitchen folks have anything that looks tasty, ready to come out?
They look like they're about ready as you continued on and had your conversation. They appear to be starting to plate up and platter up different types of meats and different foods and vegetables. Raven, what have you been doing during this time?
I sat in my room for a little bit and got bored, so I am going to come down into the kitchen and see what's going on. See if I can find some food to eat or people to annoy.
As you come out, then you see Zangulus and Haster sitting at a table, kind of leaning over, having some kind of conversation, and you can smell that the food is pretty much done at this point, and you can see now they're starting to carry some plates out to the main central table in the sort of common room / mess galley area.
All right. I'm gonna walk through and see if I can grab a chicken leg or something off one of the plates and walk over and see what Haster and Zangulus are chatting about.
There's indeed a chicken leg there that you reach out, you grab, and plop yourself down.
Sup, guys?
We were just talking about what we're gonna do with all these kids when we get to the capital. The two of us were orphans, so we know of an orphanage in the capital. Seems like a good place to get rid of them. The priestesses are really, really nice there. They took super great care of us. Look at us. Look at how well we turned out.
Yeah, well, orphanages don't really prepare you for life. I think we should just teach them how to survive and let them go.
Yeah, but then we have to stick around and teach them how to survive before we let them go. The orphanage will take care of that for us.
We were
How do you
thinking
know-
more a way to hide them for the moment, at least.
Yeah, that too.
Oh.
Like, I don't really want to be, like, toting around a dozen kids, you know? Like,
No.
there's definitely
how-
something more up.
Protect them is to probably have them nowhere near us. Especially if we can keep them hidden.
Yeah.
Well, we do have time before we actually get to the capital. They could learn some things in that time, but whatever. They're not my kids.
If you want to teach them how to be ragamuffins, you're more than welcome to. You know, the tiny rapscallions that crawl over every city. That's fine. But either way, I do think we're gonna have to stash them somewhere to keep them hidden
Oh, of
and
course.
safe until we can figure out what exactly is going on. Which I have some ideas on how to figure that out, but they're somewhat less than savory. I don't know that Garrett's gonna be on board. But maybe I help him with his bull testicle thing, and he'll help me with my thing.
Good luck.
The testicle thing. Sounds like you guys have a problem.
Yeah. The problem is that we're gonna not be able to carry all the weighty money we're gonna earn from doing this.
But that is a good problem.
Yeah.
There are places to hide things, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm gonna go grab some food, and I'm gonna stand up from the table and go start dishing up just like an enormous plate of way more food that I'm actually gonna eat.
You get up
I'll
from
offer
the table.
Zangulus. I was
And-
gonna offer Zangulus a bite of my chicken leg that I've already eaten off of. You want some? It's pretty good.
Thanks. I'll take it and take a bite off of it. Hand it back.
All right, we're sharing. This is great. I'll continue eating.
You see the large spread set up on the central table. You were off to the side at one of the tables over, and as you get up there, there's plates laid out and almost any of pretty standard food. Nothing exotic, but there's chicken, roast, there's potatoes and carrots and some sort of cooked greens. There's a pot of stew. So you've got yourself options. You can make yourself a plate.
I'm just gonna pile up a bunch of everything onto a plate, and like clearly I'm not gonna be able to eat all of it all at once because it's gonna be like a gluttonous amount of food. But that's what I'm putting on my plate, and I'm gonna come sit down next to Zangulus and just start tearing into it.
That is a lot of food.
Garrett, roll me a perception check.
I'm still in my room changing, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's been a little while.
Actually, it's pretty good. Like really good. 21.
Okay. You can definitely smell the cooked food coming through the door now,
Oh no.
as all of
Oh,
the
no.
cameras just shifted off.
Oh,
Fortunately, Flint's gonna be
That
right
should
back
fix
where
it.
he was, so it
Hopefully.
it should be all right.
that should fix it, yeah.
Because I think he was changing his setting.
Yeah, he's putting his headset in.
Right, let's get you connected. And we're waiting. He's still asleep. Anyway, we'll continue on with this.
There he is.
So, Garrett, you smell the cooking coming from underneath the door, and you can smell the food prepped. You're out of your armor now and in your fancy robes, and also very muffled from above and through the bits of wood, because the wood is allowed to breathe even though it's nice. You can see a little peak of light from outside. Not enough that you feel any moisture really getting in, but just a tiny bit up at the edge of the top deck. You notice and you hear and you see little flashes of colored light just changing a little bit in that corner.
Something is going on above deck. So I go to where the kitchen is in my fancy robes, and I acknowledge my party members and then go get food, and come sit down. And before I start eating, I say, "There is something going on above deck. Something with fancy lights."
Was it kind of like the lights we saw in the town?
Possibly. We should probably awake Flint, but I'm not going to do it just yet.
Let's see what it is first.
Yes. And I get a whole big eat, and do the eating things, and then after I've sat quietly, ate a couple bites, I say, after dinner.
Yeah.
Flint, roll me a perception check.
Who?
Flint.
Oh.
I think he's muted.
You're
Yeah,
still
he's
muted.
18.
Even though you're asleep now, you can feel your nose sort of just tickle and twinge a little bit, and you can smell now the cooked meats and food coming through the door. So it stirs you just a hair from sleep. So, but not so much that you couldn't choose to go back to sleep if you wanted. You're muted still. You're muted again.
Just drag myself off the bed. Yeah. Food. And I just kind of sleep stumble towards the smell. Just kind of.
You find yourself in the room where you got the drink before, and before you is a pretty hearty spread of foods. And you can see the rest of the party off in the corner, minus Carrick, who, as you stumbled out, and some of the others did, you could hear quite loud retching coming from the room that is marked Sick Bard. Flint, to you, you don't even notice what was there.
No, it's just scribble. Okay. Just gonna let her grab a chunk of, I'm assuming it's like a chicken-like thing, or a turkey-like thing.
There's both.
Grab a leg bone, just a big leg, drumstick, and some more beer, and stumble over to the guys.
You walk over to the bar. The bartender just looks at you. Yes. Can I help you?
Stout.
Abrasive, aren't you? Pours you just extra. There's a little extra foam in it. Just a little bit, but he hands it to you without saying much else and goes back to cleaning up more glasses behind there and just seems to be keeping an eye on things down in this room.
Cheers. And just wander over to people.
Hey,
what's happening?
Howdy, Flint.
Flint?
Welcome to our well-earned feast.
You gonna eat it without me?
Well, I was gonna come wake you up, but I just started eating and I couldn't stop. It's so good.
And you were also sleeping.
Yeah, I didn't really want to wake you up that much.
That's fair. It's pretty fair.
Hey, bartender.
Yes.
Do you know your wines? Would you consider yourself a wine connoisseur?
Not necessarily connoisseur, but I know that we do have some available.
Well, I brought one on board, and I was wondering if you might be able to tell me more about it.
I might be able to.
Oh, good. I'll be right back. And I'm going to go to my room, and I'm going to get the bottle of wine that was labeled Tem 1242 and bring it out. Be like, this is something I recently acquired. I was wondering if you could tell me any more about the vintage.
And he holds it up, and his eyes kind of widen a little bit looking at the label. Well, I don't know a lot about different wines, but when you see something like this, it's been noted before. This is quite an old wine. I mean, the labeling looks correct, and he kind of pulls out from under the bar, and he grabs a pair of glasses and holds them up and really starts to look carefully. And you can see him just touch the edges of the label very finely, just to check it. The glue seems to be correct, and hold on, and checks the cork at the top and everything. Kind of runs his finger around it, sniffs it just to see if there's any. No odd odors. Looks at the bottle and then turns over towards a candle behind, starts holding the bottle up, and darker glass, but doesn't appear to be sediment. It's very impressive. It's very expensive. It could be worth something to the right people.
What's it worth to you? You want to share it with us?
Share this?
Yeah, let's drink it together right now. You tell us how you came to work on this boat. Give us a little more to know.
Right, so you want me to open it?
Yeah, one glass for all of us. Just split the bottle up pretty evenly as best you can, and you included. Marcus, is Marcus still at the bar?
Yeah, Marcus is still sitting there, just kind of looking over at you. Now he's
Marcus, do
noticing
you
the
want some
glass.
too?
That fancy crap.
Yeah, sure. When
It'll
else
get
are you
me
gonna drink
drunk.
it?
Why not? Roll me a persuasion, though.
My mask is. I don't remember if I left it up or not.
It was up.
Okay. Ooh, I did really well. I got a 23. My 19 on the die.
Well, if you want me to open it, I'm not going to say no. And he pulls out a bottle of corkscrew. Yeah, corkscrew from beneath and starts putting it in. He doesn't even stop. Pulls the seal. Goes through. Gets in there. Pops the cork out of it. And as soon as the cork's out, you can smell the wine immediately. And it isn't a vinegar smell. You can smell the grapes and the sugars. It's a very, very pleasant aroma immediately. We won't drink this right away. For this, and he pulls out a decanter and he immediately pours the bottle into it. This needs something proper, and with that, he pulls out... Let's see, it's 5 of you, 6... 7 glasses. And lays them out, and these are very fine, broad-based crystal glasses with gold across the entire bottom and spiraled up gold leafing and inlay that spreads out around it. He goes, needs something proper, but we'll let it wait for 20 minutes if you don't mind, and we'll just set this here. Yes, we'll just set this down here. And he sets it below the bar. I'll come over with the wine in just a few minutes.
Very good, very good. Well, we're gonna have some of the finest wine we've ever drunk, and we're gonna do it right after we go upstairs and check out what's going on up there, right?
What's going on upstairs?
Some kind of flickering lights, but we were all really hungry, so we decided to have a look-see at dinner first, and then just peek upstairs to see what's with the flickering light.
Aye, all right. I'm going upstairs, grabbing another leg on the way.
As I get up to follow him, I'm gonna press to digitate the dinner off of me that I made a mess of myself while eating, and then go up to follow him.
The rest of you eating dinner see Haster, his fingers spark purple again, and a mess of food that he left just dripping down the front with gone.
I clean myself daintily and follow as Flint goes up.
I don't clean myself at all and follow.
I'm still eating chicken legs, so there's chicken in and around my face.
Just matted in the beard.
Raven, you sticking around behind here, or are you going up?
I'll go with. I try to secretly wipe my hands and face on the tablecloth and proceed upwards.
All right, as the rest of you start to move down the hallway, now you can actually see Aerothan and Marcus, or I'm sorry, just Aerothan. Marcus is behind it, just sort of sitting there at the bar still. You see Aerothan come out of the room and go over to the kids' rooms, and you can hear her, come children, come. We need to, this is quite wonderful. You deserve a moment. And they start heading upstairs as well, ahead of you a little bit. You wind back up the stairs, and as you come out onto the deck, you can smell the sea air now, and you look, and the coast is actually quite a bit off in the distance. It's faded away. The sky has become a deep, deep purple and blue off to the west, to the east. It's just open water that's almost as dark as the sky itself. And as you start looking southward, you notice a noise first and see a flash on the deck. And when you look up, coming off of the top at the crow's nest. From the ship itself, fireworks are just popping off.
Really shouldn't be a surprise.
Subtle.
Yeah, not exactly going to be sneaking in any place.
Look at the bright side. Perhaps people will be so blinded by the extravagance that they won't see just us walking off the ship.
That's actually probably a really good point, Garrett. Whatever. Let's enjoy the show. I'm going to go get the bartender to bring that wine up here. Lady Aerothin, would you like a very small glass of wine?
Not at the moment. I do need to rest. The wounds, wine doesn't mix well while healing, and I need to keep my wits about me. For the sake of the children and myself.
Very well. And I'm going to run back down.
It is much appreciated, and all of you have helped far beyond anything we had hoped. I was afraid that you would hand the children over. I'm thankful
We
that
would never
you
do
believed
such
me.
a thing.
And with that, she just kind of turns back to the railing, and you can see her. She's still hunched over and not really moving to full like before, and you can see the crutch with her. But
yeah, she's
using the
been
railing
hurt
just
pretty
kind of
severely.
She's watching the fireworks going off.
I'm going to run down and tell the bartender that when the wine is ready, if he could bring it up on top to the top deck, because we're going to sit up there and watch the fireworks and drink our wine.
Okay, so you head back downstairs, and as you're heading back down, you can see the bartender there, and he's pulling the decanter out now from behind the bar where he'd left it sitting. And he reaches over and starts pouring wine into each of the glasses. And you walk up to him and, I'm meant to stay here at the bar, but you feel free to take the glasses with you. You should be able to have someone else help you, hopefully. And
question for you, out of character.
carry a few of them.
I have an out of character question for you. Have I been able to have a short rest worth of rest since we got on the boat?
This would have been a short rest worth of time, yeah.
Okay, then I'm going to summon up my unseen servant to carry the extra wine glasses for me as I proceed back out with them.
Okay. And as you're standing there, Marcus is like, I got some. Poof. A ghostly sort of almost faceless but humanoid form comes up, and you motion over at the glasses, grabs 4 of them, and seems
I'll
to be
grab the other ones.
moving a little bit. Marcus reaches over and grabs one before you can grab another real quick. He said I could have some.
Come up to the top of the deck, Marcus. Come on. There's a beautiful show up there. You can have some wine and take in the lovely sea air. You'll be near Lady Aerothin and the children, keeping them safe. You've got all the reason in the world to come watch the show.
Probably a good idea. He follows behind you.
Alrighty. So, when I come back up, I will have the unseen servant hand out the wine glasses. And we will take in the sea air and the exploding colors in the sky.
Thanks, I guess.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah, this is slightly less crazy than orgy, but cheers.
You're standing there looking out as the sun has gone down now, the sky getting lit up by fireworks. And even though you're a ways from the coast, the distance between Caprisi and Tem is not that far. So with the wide open sea in front of you, you can see the lights off in the distance, not but half a day's sailing time away. So by morning, you should be reaching what appears to be your destination as the path of the ship is headed, the very capital of Tem itself. Just little lights flickering, and the pass between the mountains, even at night, apparent, with the mountains almost right down the middle.
See, you guys see that split between these two mountains here? The old stories say that was one mountain range together, and it got split by a great fight between gods. They say Bahamut and the Tarask had a bit of a tussle and split our world asunder. Way, way back in the ancient times.
I can relate to a good fight.
Yeah, a fight between the gods themselves. Brought real into the material. I'm not entirely sure. I just don't think they get along. Like
But
cats and dogs.
they do.
Some gods.
There are
And
some gods that are good.
from the
some-
banister, you hear, "It was to save all of us. It isn't
I
that
would
they
expect
didn't
she
get
knows better.
along. Not that they didn't get along. It was... He gave himself up from our very plane of existence. And I don't mean this plane. I mean all of the ones beyond it, too. He was torn asunder. He was cast out. The only death of a god that anyone's ever even whispered of. Apparently, something occurred during the fight that... Well, he gave himself to keep us safe, and the Tarask was destroyed. So some of the stories I've managed to read up on over the past several years in hiding, I mean, I do wear his symbol.
You do indeed.
No one does anymore.
Have you been able to touch his power?
I don't know whose power it is I touch. It's definitely not normal magic. It is of the divine, but whether it is somehow touching his power again after all this time, or another is taken up in his stead and is trying to bring the light back to, well, to the one who was the most good of them all, who fought for us to live. I don't know.
Well. What? 1 sec.
Thinking it over, I see.
I mean, I think it is
Sorry.
obvious. It is obvious for
Uh,
whom you are touching in terms of the power. He's Bahamut himself. Who else would you be touching? I mean,
If it was you, everyone.
that is just Seune. Seune touches everyone. I simply am the vessel of Seune.
Like she said, who's ever heard of a god that could die, right? Surely they could wax and wane in power. Maybe it's his time to return.
If it is, it's a good sign. Or a very bad one.
Yes, unfortunately, if he is returning, that might mean also that his enemies are returning. So,
Let us pray that is not the case. Before she had a bit of a smile watching the fireworks and kind of looks away deep in thought, just looking out over the sea.
well, I'll swirl my wine around a little in my glass and yeah, just enjoy the sea air while I finish my wine.
Anyone else doing anything specific?
No, I'm bored of the fireworks, and I've become sullen with all this talk of gods. I just going like, you can keep your gods, the evil, fickle buggers. I'm gonna go back to bed.
Okay.
See you guys in the morrow.
As much as I disagree with Flint in this matter, I do agree that it is time for me to sleep. Perhaps tomorrow we can make our Elixir Hastur. But for now, I sleep.
I think we have a lot to discuss tomorrow. But for now, we should all get some rest.
Yeah, I agree. I will finish my wine and head to my room.
And I will do the same.
Rest.
So is everyone going to rest then? In their rooms?
Yes.
Indeed.
Yeah.
All right.
Out of character, what's passive perception?
Passive perception is for you to notice something that you're not actively looking for. So if someone gets a really, like, say there's someone trying to hide around the corner and you're not actively scanning for something to be happening, your passive perception could catch that out of the corner of your eye so you don't get jumped or surprised by something in a moment.
Oh, cool. Because mine's 13, which seems pretty good.
It's decent, yeah.
Sweet.
All right. So, with the night falling and the sea air now getting to you and having had some wine, you all retire to your rooms in the night. Okay. All right. Night passes and you can hear now, even from your rooms, a bell being rung from the deck up above. Those of you who have traveled by ship before, Raven and Flint, you recognize it as a sort of morning bell signifying that morning has arrived and to switch shifts on the ship itself. It's loud enough that it does wake you from sleep. But you wake up fully healed, rested, having had a very pleasant rest over the night. No eventful things occurred at that time.
Getting everyone's full health.
So at the morning bell, I am going to start my work in this room. Pushing all the furniture to the side and getting down to business. Drawing circles on the ground.
Okay.
I'd already be up on the top deck, at the bow, holding onto the riggings and just watching as we sail.
Okay, so you're on the top deck holding onto the rigging and watching. All right. Everyone else?
I'm gonna get up and go to the very front of the boat and have a little King of the World moment.
With whom?
Oh, it doesn't have to be anybody. It's just enjoying being there and pretending that I'm flying.
Now, over the sea, for those of you on the top deck, you can see the sun starting to rise and the day pushing the night away with sort of a dark-colored sky behind the mountain edges still as the sun's just coming up. It's not crossing over it yet, but it comes up over the sea itself. You can see the reflection off of the waters, which are barely any waves, a beautiful blue color. Think very much like Gulf of Mexico, you know, near islands, sort of that not deep cloudy blue, but that very blue-green clear water, which the Sea of Harlem is known for. Very much the Caribbean in its way of its look and the way the waters of this region are. And the Sea of Harlem is known for waters that are pristine like that and calm seas for sailors. It's a primary trade route for the region.
Fantastic.
So as you're looking out over the morning, anyone else on the top deck, or where's everyone else right now?
I checked the kitchen to see if it's being used.
Okay. When you get there, you see it not in use at the moment. There doesn't appear to be anyone preparing any food just yet for breakfast. Okay.
So I at least get out and start chopping up the organs in question, so I can get those done before they start Directus.
The organs. I like the way you phrase that.
I mean, there's only so many ways. Only times you can say balls.
You could say it plenty of times.
Gonads, testicles.
You find yourself, there is a cutting board there, and there are knives up behind the counter, and you find a step ladder that you're able to move over to reach the counters, because as you notice, there were no morkers, and these are more human height, so you're able to step up there, reach back, grab a knife, and you can cut.
I'm taking my time.
Proceed to cut, no problem. Taking your time. Roll me a quick dexterity check.
20? Unmodified? I mean, modified, I should say. Modified.
Yeah. Without problem, you don't really cause any damage. You chop them up in whatever way, dicing or slicing or julienne, however you're aiming for with this cut. You've got it down, no problem. You're taking your time to do it. So you're doing that for preparation. Haster, what are you doing?
I've summoned an unseen servant to help me push all the furniture out of the way so that I have a nice big space in the center of my room to draw a ton of different circles with. And then it's going to have the chalk, and it's going to be drawing circles for me, and in the little runes, as it like puts the runes down that I want, I'm going to be flicking them into life, occasionally just like sparking certain runes to shape into having color with prestidigitation, so that I can like mull over and ponder these different types of ritual circles to figure out which one feels right. But I'm only using mundane chalk, and I'm not putting any blood into any of it, so I don't want to like actually turn anything on.
Okay. As you summon your unseen servant and it goes to help you out moving the furniture, you notice it goes over the furniture and seems to really have no effect moving the furniture. Even though it's an unseen servant, it doesn't seem to have much force behind what it can really do. So
yeah, I'm not really terribly strong either, so
it's going to take you a little while to shove them out of the way, but it's just general furniture, and you're not really trying to do anything too specific. So
I might have it start moving like the light stuff while I like struggle against the heavier things, because I've got a little more weight.
It'll take you the next half hour or so to really move everything out of the way and create the space in the center.
Prepare my space. Yeah. Okay.
So Raven and Zangulus, I need perception checks from the both of you.
All right.
5. No, 4.
Ouch.
Jeez.
I didn't do much better. 10.
All right. You're looking out over the ocean, and off in the distance, you can see there's a circling of some birds just up in the air. They seem to swoop around for a while. The seas are clean, and you look over and you notice that now you can really start to see the capital, Tem itself. As you're sailing up, it's maybe an hour or two away at this point. And what you notice as the sun's starting to hit is the docks themselves are huge. You were pretty impressed when you first got to Caprisi, and you noticed the docks even for the first time, or when you arrived on them, as there was berths for a number of small boats there, and even one for this large ship. And it could handle quite a bit of fishing going on, and it seemed like it was impressive. When you reached Tem, you noticed that had nothing. Caprisi had absolutely nothing on this. Now you can actually start to see the buildings off in the distance, and some of them tower 5 and 6 stories tall off in the distance, even standing above the buildings of the docks, which some of them themselves are 3 stories tall, and there appear to be berths for dozens of ships of your size, not to mention smaller berths, and it is bustling. Even from here, you can see the number of ships docked at this port, and you can hear, even at this distance, you can very faintly catch bells ringing, and you can see just the bits of the sails from here, but it is still several miles away. But the one thing that you really take notice of above all else is that over the city itself, now between the two mountain passes that are split in the mountain pass, between the two parts of the mountain which are just split, which do appear to be of the same range, you can see a statue dark and made of the bloodstone, and another one that appears to be made of a metal of some kind, either very finely polished or, and Raven, you definitely catches your eye because that's either silver or platinum itself, a statue of Bahamut latching onto one of the Tarask. And Zangulus, you remember those two colossal statues quite well, which had been there for as long as you could remember and seen for miles and miles around. They stand a good 100 feet tall and have been there as far as anyone can remember in the city, and they don't remember them actually being built or history books of them being built. And this is for you, Zangulus, as you grew up in this area, but they've been there. And they are sort of like the shining item of the city itself.
Yes. Those statues have been there for as long as anyone can remember. Soon we'll be home.
I stare at him, transfixed. Like, man, that must be expensive. Worth so much gold.
He's pretty shiny. Good workmanship. Must have been a dwarf.
What's everyone doing at this moment? I know what. Yeah, you've finished chopping at this point.
Is anyone still in the area? Or like, is anyone come in to start cooking yet?
No one's come into the galley yet.
Okay, so what I do is I start preparing a pot with some like lard in it, and drop the chopped up chunks into.
Where are you looking for the lard?
In the cupboards or anything and stuff like that.
You start opening the cupboards up, and roll an investigation check for me.
5.
As you're looking through the cupboards and checking them, and you can't really reach the top ones. You had a little bit of a problem finding purchase to get up there, but you check some of the lower ones. You notice it's all cooking utensils in here.
Do I look around? Is there any kind of like door that leads out to like a pantry or anything like that?
Perception real quick.
14.
Having been in the area yesterday when they were cooking and noticing it, and then it kind of, you remember it as you see it. You see that little almost dumbwaiter hole on the wall that they were reaching into and then pulling food out of it.
Can I reach up there?
You can get the ladder over there and reach into that area.
Okay, I reach into it and see if I can't. I assume I'm just assuming it's magical. So I think lard, and I reach into the dumbwaiter and see if there's anything inside.
As you think lard and you put your hand in, all of a sudden you feel something in your hand, and as you pull back out, there is indeed a small container of lard in your hand.
Okay, I reach back in, I go, more lard.
As you reach back in and pull back out, you have a bit larger bag this time of lard.
Okay, I take both of them, and I go over to the pot, jump it in, put all the stuff in, and I pull out some water from the water skin. And who has the blood of the Minotaur?
Did Nixie have it?
Nixie probably had it, yeah.
So
I didn't think I had it, so.
Nixie collected it.
Yeah, so I put the water in the in with it, and find a stove and start like little halfling with a giant spoon stirring this pot. And I say some magic words over it as in case anyone's watching.
And as you get there, then you start rendering down the lard and put in little bits of the Minotaur testicles chopped up, and it's basically little bits of meat compared to the amount of lard that you put in, and a big pot of basically melted butter now. So now you have this giant pot of melted butter with little flecks of meat.
Okay, and then I add some water, and I started thinking, okay, dies. So I walk back to the dumbwaiter, and I think really hard of like pink dye, pink food dye.
You reach your hand in, you think pink food dye, pull out, nothing.
Let me do a nature check real quickly, or trying to think of what would get this whole concoction to get like a pinkish hue to it. It's now just like butter and meat.
Only a straight up intelligence check.
All right, so that would be a 13.
All right, knowing generally how colors work and thinking about it for a second, you know that there's any number of things that you could try and pull out of there that would be white in color and red in color, and by mixing them in the right proportions, you might be able to create a pinkish hue. There could be berries or cream, different things of those natures.
I just didn't know about like any kind of like local berries and stuff like that. So I think of some like red berries and some cream.
As you reach in,
non-poisonous red berries.
You reach in and pull your hand out thinking red berries and cream, and what you get is indeed a bowl of strawberries and cream.
Okay. I then
and
go to
you're
the
thrown
bars
off a little bit too, because strawberries and cream is that's a bit fancy folk for food.
It's really fancy, I know, yeah. Okay, this is yeah. So I take that and I stop for a moment. The bar's isn't it in the kitchen, or is it nearby?
The bar is right across the way, so you have the kitchen here with its sort of separation and its serving counter, and then the bar's on the wall over here, and then the tables are here.
The bartender's not there right now, right?
Nope, no one's in that area right now currently.
Just remind me never to go around to Garrett's for dinner. Just saying.
I go grab some just like any kind of alcohol I can find. Just kind of reach in and grab some sort of alcohol. I don't even care which kind.
All right, you grab the nearest bottle you can, and I'll
right.
for this. All right. Let me check my sheet. Yeah, I even have alcohols written down. Shit, you know. All right. I know which one that is. You reach over and grab a bottle, and you notice it's pretty relatively clear for a bottle. It's a glass bottle, and it's got a sort of dark liquid to it.
There's nothing written on it or anything like that?
There is. You look at it, and what languages do you speak?
Halfling and common.
You don't recognize the writing.
Cool. It'll work. I take the alcohol bottle, and I take the berries and cream. I go in, I dump this berries and cream into the concoction, and I pour a little bit of the alcohol in, and I kind of like reach in to like taste, not necessarily like drink, but like to get the flavor of what it would taste like, how bad it is.
Okay, with all of this mixture, I don't want to do that. Roll me a nature. Roll me a nature for this.
All right. 19.
Okay. With that and the mixture that you've put together, which is rendered lard and minotaur testicle, now adding the sweetness of strawberries and cream and just a splash of liquor, you reach in and taste it. It has this very odd, pretty salty undertone to it of the lard, and it's somewhat thickened, but the sweetness of the berries and the cream mixed together worked. and it sort of cut into it, and just the splash of liquor, it was a somewhat sweet liquor, and you now sniffing the bottle after doing that, you recognize it as some kind of a sweeter of a flavored whiskey almost. It's got a little bit of a sweetness behind this whiskey type scent. Not quite a brandy, but close. And you tasting this, you're very, very, very close to it actually tasting pretty amazing. I think just a splash or two more of the liquor and you're good.
Okay, splash two more of the liquor. I was going for something that was slightly odd, that was slightly colored. All right, and then once I do the splash per tour of the liquor, are there any vials that I saw in like small like portable containers that I could use that were in the ship? Because I looked through the cupboards and utensils and stuff like that.
You didn't see anything looking through it. I mean, there are glasses about, but nothing like a potions vial or a container of that nature.
All right, so I empty my water skin, and I pour what I can of this concoction into the water skin.
All right, so having it rendered down and more than pouring it in, dipping your hand in carefully so it's bubbling still, not to burn it, and filling up your water skin as much as you can. You've got this pink colored liquid, and you've got a water skin full of quotes around it Minotaur potion.
Minotaur potion. It's Minotaur the
Minotaur Vitality Extract.
Yeah, I was gonna say the vitality, love vitality, Minotaur love vitality. There we go.
So write that down in your
LV.
inventory.
Yes. All right, and then I turn the stove off, or I take it off the stove as much as possible, and then kind of cover it up in whatever way, like a cloth, a tablecloth or something like that, to keep the stuff away. And I write a little note. I grab anything I can kind of jot something down on, like chalk or whatever. I write a little note saying, "These Garrett's, please do not touch." And then I walk. And then as I say, thinking that, I realize it's probably not a good idea. So I take the pot with me and put it into my room, and then go out and try to find Haster.
Okay. All right. So you finished with that, and where are you searching for Haster at this point?
Above deck. I first look for his room. I go to his room to see if he's in his room. And then I go, he's not there.
You get to his door. It's Haster. Did you lock your door?
No.
All right, so I knock on the door.
Yeah. Come in.
All right, I open the door. I go, Haster, I have the concoction. What do I see before me?
So, splayed out on every surface that's not a piece of furniture, there are what look like some kind of magic ritual circles with varying sizes and different runes written in them. Like everyone looks different. They're all drawn in the same like regular white chalk. I've got like the littlest bit of a nub of my piece of chalk left in my hand, and I'm just kind of tapping it on my cheek, looking at all the things, like flicking on certain runes with prestidigitation so they like light up and glow, and be like, no, that's not good. That's not good. No, that's not gonna work either. What about this one? And trying to. Oh yeah. What do you, bull balls. Yeah. What do you need?
Well, it is done. I just need some sort of way to bottle it.
You guys find any vials or anything?
No, I haven't found any.
You can't have the one vial I've got because it's got ink in it, and I need that.
Did you find anything in your exploration that where I might find it? Something like that?
No. This was just I touched a little portal magic like yesterday, and it was a long day. And this morning, I can't get it out of my head. So, I've done a lot of like old reading, and this guy Dramish, he had this way to transport items across the any plane, his plane, our plane, some other plane that we've never heard of, right? He could take things and teleport them all over the place. So this is roughly based off his work. And I don't think I can use it to summon you a vial to put your bull ball stuff in. Mostly because this is not magic chalk and I'm just exploring things here. And also, I'm really afraid that if I opened any of these portals, I don't know where they go exactly. You see, the ruins on the outside are kind of like the address.
Yes,
and,
no, I get you.
Oh.
I get you. Okay, I get you. I just wanted to figure this out. You do your crazy.
Let me know when you're ready to
Stop.
actually sell some of these things, though.
No problem. You do your crazy person impression. I will be back, and I close the door. I walk out and close the door, and I start looking through the ship to try to find any sort of like container that might work as kind of like a vial.
And Flint, where are you at?
I've just wandered up on deck and just leaning on the railings,
Roll me a perception check.
watching the world go by. That would be a 14.
All right. And perceptions from both Raven and Zangulus real quick as well. With disadvantage, though. You're enamored by those statues off in the distance, the colossal statues.
I got a 9, so
Still enamored.
yeah, very enamored.
Raven? Can't hear you.
I think you're muted.
Whoops, sorry, I was coughing. I rolled a 5.
Okay. Both of you are still Raven
enamored.
especially. You're looking at that and you're trying to, in your head right now, calculate the size of that, the possible weight, if it's all made of what you think would be silver or if it were platinum, and just how much money that would be worth.
Sounds about right.
You're trying to run calculations on just the value of that entire thing, and then how you would fit that entire thing into something to steal the whole thing. So the thoughts of a giant raven trying to carry this statue away across the land, they're popping into your head right now.
Oh, yeah. My mind is a swim with possibilities and daydreams.
At that moment, as you can see the city now coming up closer and closer as everyone's doing different things, you all of a sudden hear, you look up, sky's completely clear, but you hear thunder. So you're hearing the sound of thunder and you're looking around, nothing. You don't notice anything, and then all of a sudden next to your ship, you see a column of water just shoot up.
The heck is that?
Do the rest of us hear it or feel it?
Below deck, no, perceptions real quick. Disadvantage on them.
Oh,
14.
I got a 16. I rolled 15 on both dice.
It doesn't catch your attention below deck. There's a gout of water outside, but it wasn't anything horribly loud. If anything, you heard maybe a slight rumble, Haster, but you're pretty focused on your runes at the moment. Flint and Raven, Zangulus, you all see it. And above on deck, all of a sudden you see the crew looking over at the water and just like starting to scramble a little bit, but they're in a pretty confused state.
I'm looking at the water too, because as far as I know, it came from the water.
Perception.
11.
Looking down there, it's pretty clear water, but the bottom's so deep you can't really see the bottom this far out from shore. And looking around, you're not seeing anything. You don't see anything like a creature.
Does anybody know what
no
that
idea
was?
so far.
Sea giant? I have no clue. I don't much like the ocean.
One of the crew members running past you. Sea giant! Where?
Well, I don't bloody know. Just saw a spout of water.
Oh no, maybe it's a whale. Something odd about that. Not seeing one. You hear another sound of thunder. And then perception checks for you three.
$21.
15.
Crying out loud. 6. This die is terrible. I need to get a new set.
Zangulus, with this one, you notice the sound of the thunder, and you look back. It's off behind the ship itself. And when you look back there, you catch way off in the distance. And we're talking half a mile of distance. Dark-colored red and black sails. And you notice on the center of one of them something that you noticed when you first arrived in Caprisi. And it's the same mark that was on the red and black armor that was on... Trying to remember which of the two it was you ran into, but it was either Timothy or Thomas Thingane.
Timothy, I think.
I was just looking that up.
Oh, bloody hell. Is that the same guys who we met on the docks that first day? Here for more of a ruckus.
Those sails resemble the markings that were on their armor. Are they throwing things at us?
You see a puff of smoke, and then with that, all of a sudden, poof, quite a ways off this time, maybe a good, 50 yards off to the starboard side of the ship. Over there, gout of water goes up.
I'm gonna yell to the deckhands. That other ship is throwing things at us.
They look back behind it. Catapults! And all of a sudden you see different workers start to scramble. Some of them jump into the rigging. One of them's climbing up for the crow's nest. They had been switching out workers at this time. And you see them rush over to the same bell from before and just start furiously ringing it. Ding, ding, ding. Now you can see crew members really starting to scramble, and they're the one climbing up to the crow's nest. You can see him bust out an eyepiece or a spyglass. You see him pull out the spyglass and start to look through that. What's everyone doing?
Does this additional ruckus draw our attention from down below deck?
From below deck, you can hear the bell ringing now, and you hear shouting and people rushing about.
All right, I run right up to the top deck as I hear the bell ringing.
I groan at the inconvenience of the interruption to my study, and I flick my chunk of chalk back into the room, and I stand up and... Well, this'll have to wait. Grab my shit and walk out. My weapons are what I'm grabbing and coming upstairs.
All right.
I grab one of the crew. Hey, what can we do? What do you need from us? What can we do to help?
The sails. We need to get speed. You gotta get up there and tie them down. Keep them tight. Never had to do it before, but... Helmsman! And now you see that same person, Zangulus and Raven, you notice him. The same one before that shooed you away from the room they said was just for Thane, starts running up and he looks ghost white and scared. But the same one that told you they've never had to actually steer this ship grabs the wheel now.
Right, well, I guess I'm going up the sail.
Oh boy.
Oh God.
So
much rope.
Yeah, well, I get my rope out my bag and secure it to like my hand axe, so I can fling it to get it up over the mast and tie myself to the end and shout to Marcus, "Hey Marcus, come here, brother! Can you hold the end of this rope so I don't fall down?
You see him just start coming out the doors, and he was actually drawn by that. Garrett and Haster, you watch him bound past you as you were starting to rush up. He came up and comes out onto the deck. What? How? Runs over to you. What do you need?
Yeah, take this rope and make sure I don't fall to my death. Would be good, please, buddy.
Yeah, dead be bad. All right, let's do this.
Okay,
So,
and then I scamper.
Make an attack roll real quick with it.
An attack roll?
Or a dexterity check. Attack usually gives you proficiency, but he's trying to throw it up and over. We'll do it just a straight dexterity.
Okay, so we've got a 6.
All right, so you go to throw the axe, and instead of up and over, you kind of embed it into the mast a little bit. But when you tug to see if even that's secure, it just comes right back out onto the ground.
Okay, well, I'll try again.
What's everyone else doing in this moment? Because we're going to start going into sort of a combat action phase type circle. Raven, Zangulis, what are you up to?
Garrett and Haster are up here now with us, right?
They're not quite up yet. They're going to be up in just a moment.
Okay. Well, the other ship's still too far away for us to really do anything other than help Flint, I guess. So I'm waiting for Flint to get ready with whatever he's doing.
Okay. Raven, are you doing anything specific? You're muted.
I'm sorry. Not doing anything specific just yet. I will go over to Flint and Haster to see if I can be of any use to these guys. But
Zangulus, got
I don't. Yeah. Oh, Zangulus. Sorry.
All right. So you two are waiting for Flint. Garrett and Haster, you come out onto the deck at this point, just as again you hear the sound of thunder from behind, but this time closer. And Zangulus, now noticing it, you see another puff of white smoke and hear the splash again, but still about, this time, port side. So off to your left, 50 yards this time. So whatever's happening, it was right, now it's left. They're trying to dial in something. And the crew, you hear them shouting catapults.
I'm going to point behind us and tell them, it looks like the Thin Gains have found us. I'm not sure if they're specifically chasing after us or just this ship.
I look at one of the crew and I say, what do you need?
I'm going to point a knife hand pointing at the helmsman. Serpentine the ship!
What?
Turn! Turn now!
All right. And you ask someone real quick, and it's the same one that was working with Flint is trying to direct some people, looks over at you. Same thing I told him. We need people in the rigging. The sails need to be taut.
So I look over at anybody nearby and I say, just grab the nearest person and say, you hold the rope. I'm going up. And I try to climb up the ropes. This is why that thing.
All right, Flint, go ahead and make me another dexterity check for your axe throw and athletics out of you, Garrett.
So 19 for me.
Up and over this time, no problem. You dialed it in, you didn't bend the axe. It went up and over, the rope's there. Marcus grabs one side of it, you've got the other side. Check it. Appears to be tied pretty well to you, so he's holding on.
Excellent. So I scamper up to do the rigging thing and secure all that stuff.
Okay. Athletics from the both of you.
18.
18? All right. And Flint?
16 on the die, plus 2.
14 for me.
All right. You both managed to get onto the rigging, and actually, even though he's a little bit smaller, so it's a little bit harder to reach up, it looks like they had it in mind for smaller races, because of all the gnomes working out here. So you're able to clamber up, and when you look across, you see Flint climbing the same, and you've got about twice as far as he is. You're almost right up to the first part of the sails.
Okay. So I'm keep going. We're just trying to unfurl the sails, right?
You're trying to pull them
Yeah.
so there's absolutely nothing loose. They want to make sure everything's fully taut.
Gotcha.
You're at the first of the 3 masts.
Okay. So I'm trying to like tighten it off. Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's letting too much wind out right now.
Okay. So I do what I need to do. I try to grab the. Am I at the place where I can kind of grab the rope and tighten it? Because I know I'm still climbing up the rigging.
As you're climbing up, you're almost there right now. So the rest of you, Haster and Raven and Zangulus, you notice them climbing up now. You heard the person shouting that they need to be tightened down. And Haster, with your shout, roll me a persuasion real quick.
I'm gonna head over there and hassle this guy too. I got an 8 total.
With that, he looks over at you and he just starts freezing up a little bit, and he doesn't turn the ship, and he's just keeping it on course right towards the city. But he's going straight.
Okay. I am gonna run over to him as fast as I can.
Okay, as you're running up there over at him, you hear the sound of thunder again coming from behind, and as you're rushing, you can see the ship, and now, rather than half a mile, it's closed, and it's closed fast. It's maybe a quarter of a mile back behind the ship, and you hear the sound of thunder again and notice a puff of smoke, except this time, let's see where it happens. So, hold on, I have to actually check the grid for this. I gotta find where it would come on. That, like that. Split that off, and then it was there. Here, and then. Okay, so that would be. Alright. At that moment, you see the mast at the far back all of a sudden shatter and explode in splinters as a large ball of iron comes smashing through it, tearing it down. You hear screams of all the sailors around, some that were trying to climb up there, and the mast starts to just topple off to what direction? Ooh. It starts to actually topple towards the back of the ship, actually heading right for where you are, Aster, and where the helmsman is. So I need a dexterity check from you.
Oh, it's not great. It's 7 total.
It's tipping right back for you as you're climbing up the stairs at the back over that sort of like office room area. You're up near the helmsman now, and both of you scream at the same time as the mast comes down, smacking right into the both of you, wood splintering and shattering. You managed to mostly get out of the way so you weren't completely crushed by it, but the pieces of wood and debris end up doing 4 damage to you.
Okay. I told you to turn the ship, idiot. Is the helm still even there? Or did it get smashed apart when this fell on it?
You can't tell because your view is blocked where you were, where it fell. You were heading up towards him, and now you just have sail and wood everywhere in this area, so you're going to have to spend some time trying to search to see if the actual, if the wheel of the helm is there.
All right. That's my next goal then, is to scramble up there and do that.
All right. So, just did that. Garrett and Flint, need you to make more athletics checks going up there after just seeing one of these masts come down.
13.
19. Oh, athletics. Sorry, 22.
All right. You have a little bit of trouble getting up there and making sure to hold on, but you're still up there, Garrett, and you're able to get towards the ropes and start checking them. Not really sure what you're checking, though. You're not exactly completely familiar with sailing at the moment, but you're looking and you hear them yelling below. Just make sure that they can hold the wind, because they're starting to seem like they're coming loose and the corners are starting to pull. So that's the area you're checking. It'll take you a little bit to do it. Flint, you get up there quick this time, and having talked to the person initially and hearing the commands being shouted, you start to check on that section of the sail and pulling it tight so the corner's not loose anymore. All right, Raven, Zangulus, what are you doing now?
I'm gonna grab a crew member and be like, do we have any weapons on this ship?
We're working on it! And you can see now from the middle, there's a crane arm. The same one they were using off the side of the ship. It's been lifted back up. And you notice now that the crane wasn't actually on the docks, that they actually have their own crane that they use for loading and unloading. And they're raising it back up and starting to crank it and lower it towards the center hold.
Is there anything that we can help with? Like, I know they're climbing the rigging. Is there anything else that can be assistance?
Do the same! And they point off towards the center mast, which is still standing.
Okay.
Or check on the helm! And they start yelling about that whole area, which has just got a mast across it in sections of the ship that's been splintered.
I'm gonna tell Raven, look, that ship is catching up to us fast, and we've lost some of our sails. I don't know a lot about ships, but I don't think we're gonna get away, especially losing all that potential wind. I think we're better off trying to get near Hastur and see what's going on over there. Because if we can at least turn the ship, maybe this can be a fair fight. I don't think we're gonna avoid fighting.
Well, maybe we can delay it as long as possible.
Maybe. But I'm gonna run up towards Hastur though.
Alright, I'll climb this here mast and see if I can be of assistance. So I'm alright at climbing.
Alright, you're gonna climb the mid one? Go ahead and roll me in athletics.
Alright, using a different die this time, see if I can get a good result. 17! That works.
You get into the rigging and you start climbing up quick. You're in those ropes, and this time ropes are working out for you guys so far.
Yay.
So you're climbing up there and you're getting up there really, really, really well. You hear another thunderous shot go off from behind you. And this time now you can hear the whistle of whatever the hell that was that took out the far back mast, and it goes off well over the ship, just off the back corner, and you hear a splash in the water. Except this time that splash is followed by and a second gout of water goes up into the air.
It's dangerous. It's a dangerous boat.
Yep. All right. So I need checks again. This time, more athletics actually to hold on for Flint and for Garrett.
15. Flint.
17.
All right, the two of you manage to hold on as that shot goes over, and it kind of throws you off, seeing first a splash as something contacts the water, and then a second larger splash as you can see from your vantage point up high, there's almost a detonation under the water. But you don't know of any magics like that. You haven't seen anything that powerful before. So that definitely caught your attention there, but you keep to the job and you're checking the sail the best you can. As they're finishing up with that, let's see, the crane comes back up, and you can now see there is actually a catapult off in the center of the ship that's been raised out by the crane that the crew starts coming over to and pushing off to one side of the ship in order to aim it off in a direction. What's everyone doing?
I'm gonna scramble up over the bits of sail and mast and wood and chunks of debris as best I can to get toward where the helm was, if try to find out if it's still there. Pull the extra sail off over the top of it if I make it to it.
Perception.
Ugh. That'll be a 1 on the die for a total of 2.
Okay. You're still ringing in the head, and as you're trying to scramble over, you're a little bit distracted by that hit and by the debris, and you don't notice anything right away. You're a little bit more caught off guard by whatever the hell kind of magic it is that they're using to attack your ship.
Yeah, I kind of want to shoot at... If I can see another one of their projectiles coming in, I want to try to shoot at it with Eldritch Blast to, like, try to knock it off course if I can. Because I did see the one that they shot was just like a big fucking iron ball. And I might not stop it, but I could maybe slow it down if I can hit one. So I'm going to try to keep my eyes out. And I know they come after the thunder, so when I hear the thunder, I'm firing Eldritch Blast into the air.
All right. Zangulus, what are you doing?
I'm running after Haster, and I'm going to grab him and yell at him, do you have anything that can either speed us up or slow them down?
The best breeze I can make is like this.
Well, that's not going to help.
Sorry, man.
I was hoping you might have a spell that would at least be able to stop them or slow them.
Maybe with enough time and study I could learn one, but not today.
Yeah, all right.
Raven, athletics check.
Who, me?
Raven.
Oh, sorry.
12.
All right. You're starting to finish up your climb, but as you get up there, you're kind of thrown off balance a little bit by just the ship kicking now oddly and starting to turn one direction, then the next, then back again. It's starting to almost change course erratically. All right. Nobody's doing anything. Let's see, which region is this? Haster, roll a perception check. Muted.
I got a 16 this time.
On your perception check?
Yes.
This time watching it and hearing the thunder go off again and standing at the back, you catch, now it's closed even faster. Whatever's going on with this ship, it's quick. And it's closing on you. You look back and you can see Tem is actually starting to move in, even though you guys have lost one of the masts and some of your sails. Tem is actually getting closer and closer for you now. You're starting to move in on the city, but they're gaining faster than you're going to reach there.
Yeah.
You see a shot go off. You actually do see a ball of some kind up and in the air. So you have just a split second to react to it.
I will take a shot at it to try to hit it.
Attack roll.
Ooh, I got a 19 on the die. So that'll be a 25.
All right. With that, you, despite the fact that it is moving with force and speed, and this is not an easy shot at all, you know what you're looking for this time, and you concentrate and focus. You get the angle and the timing right, and you fire off a shot from your hand just as it gets in range. And what's the range of the
120
Eldritch
feet
Blast?
for Eldritch Blast.
All right, just as it reaches the 120-foot mark, put your hand up and you fire off a shot. It meets it midway between your distance and that, and now you notice just how fast it's going, because it doesn't take but a second for the Eldritch Blast to launch out there, and yet that thing had already closed half the distance. You catch it midway, and I need a dexterity check from you.
We're gonna have a 7 total.
All right. As
every other
your
roll
Eldritch
is
Blast
good.
meets it, you hear a deafening as there is just a large red and orange explosion mid-air there. And out of that explosion, all of a sudden, before you even see anything, you feel searing hot pain pepper across your body as you take 4 points of damage as pieces of whatever this was sent after you come out as projectiles and just start tearing you up. And essentially you got hit by a barrage of shrapnel.
Ouch. That's better than having it land on the deck, though. I will steady myself on the rocking boat and prepare to try to shoot at the next one and hope I can take a little less hurt from it. Zangulus, you know how to do some healing, right? I'm feeling a little woozy, and I don't know if I'm going to hit the next one they shoot.
Zangulus, what are you doing?
I'm going to be like, I can try. It's the least I can do.
Yeah, because I'm not really in super great shape.
All right, yeah. Put my hands on his shoulder, give him a nice little massage.
Oh yeah, that's the stuff.
Garrett
We
would be
could do with
proud.
that rousing bar tune right now. Shame he's puking his guts up.
By Sayuni's grace.
Oh.
That wasn't that great. 5 total health.
All right.
He is the
As
only
he-
other person who's got exposed to halfling culture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As he massages
a
you
halfling, but,
in this very awkward and creepy way, not just straight up creepy like Garrett, but in this more sort of unsure way. See this greenish glow come off of your hands and start to move through his body and the bits of the wounds from the metal, and you see the pieces of metal push out as the small wounds heal up from that. So Aster, whatever he did, do you feel better? Seems the massaging works.
Yeah. Thank you, Zangus. That was... Oh,
yeah,
man.
no problem.
Maybe I will hit the next one. I will steady myself and try to be ready for the next shot they send our way.
Athletics checks from Flint and Garrett and Raven now.
15.
Modified 20.
25.
Damn. Flint, you're across the thing. You've pulled every rope you can. You've got that sail tied down. There's nothing loose at the bottom anymore. Where, even though the crew had worked on it, they obviously did a piss poor job. They just didn't really try. Now the crew is really scrambling. Raven, you get up there and you start tying down, looking over and seeing how Flint is doing it now and how the crew is shouting for it. You start tying down those loose edges on the half that you're on, and you get across it pretty quickly and relatively easily. You were up there and you're holding on just fine. You finish up because you'd already been halfway, Garrett, as well. And with Flint, you're able to start moving back down the rigging already. Garrett, you're just at the end of your sail, having finished it up, and Raven, you're about halfway done with what you were working on. I want perception checks from everyone. Advantage to those that are actually up on the sails.
14.
A
16.
modified 20.
19.
Perception 21.
Okay. Who rolled over 20 and above?
Out of 20.
All right. The two of you notice, looking off in the distance now, you see something small. You can't quite make it out. It's almost rectangular in shape, and it's quite a ways up in the air, but you look out and you notice it off from Tem, and it's making a beeline, and then you look over and you see a second one, and both of them are making beelines from what appear to be towers off in the mountains now that you notice them. And they're heading not for you, but for the ship that's behind you.
Okay, I'm gonna point them out to Zangulus and then go back to trying to shoot down any incoming projectiles. Zangulus, what do your elf eyes show us about that? And I'll point up in their direction, since I figure he's probably got better, like, just vision in general than me. Well, better like acute distance vision.
Looking up
Take a
there,
look at them.
your eyes don't really show anything special or different. Now you notice them and you can see they're a rectangular shape up in the air and heading not directly at you, but more of a line towards them, and they're moving pretty fast.
Whatever they are, they're not looking for us. It looks like they're going for them. So long as we can stay alive for the next few minutes, I think we're good.
You hear thunder
Draw
again
your
from
bow!
behind you. And another projectile's coming in your direction. This one seems to be coming in pretty low.
I still want to shoot at it if I can shoot at it when it's in range.
All right, go for it.
I'd like to hit this one more at like the 120-foot point than the 60-foot point, taking into account how fast they go.
You can certainly try.
I definitely hit nothing but water. I got a 2 on the die, so
Trying
I
to
have a
time
8 total.
this with its speed coming in, and with your shot, you take the shot and you fire, but you fired way too soon, misjudging the distance, and you see the spell go out and then just kind of fizzle before it reaches range. Now, where the spell's sparking and fizzling, you can see the shot pass right through that mark. So you were on line with it. You were just way off on your timing.
Yeah,
The shot
son of a
actually
bitch.
comes in, and you don't see where it lands, and you don't see an immediate gout of water, but you hear a cracking and splintering of wood, and then boom, and you see a bit of wood shoot out from the back of the ship, and all of a sudden the ship starts to tip ever so slightly towards the back.
Oh, God damn it, all my research.
Oh, this is really bad.
What's everyone doing?
We're still in the Birkin, right?
Trying to hang on for dear life.
You saw this happen, and now the ship is starting to tip. You're able to hold on because of your previous rolls, but you can see the ship actually. It's starting to list a little bit towards the rear, and you saw wood shoot out. So there's definitely some kind of damage going on.
I curse and continue trying to go down.
How far away is the other ship now?
Now looking back at it, it's closed into just a few hundred yards at distance now.
I shut down. Hey, lads, we ain't getting away. How about we just ram the buggers and I can get in there with my axe?
I'm down with that. Let me run downstairs real quick and make sure the children are safe.
The children.
All right.
Also, we're on a magical bloody ship. Where's Ollie? When we need him.
He's
Okay.
I
guess
guess
it's not-
Athletics checks from Raven, Garrett, and Flint.
12.
16.
16.
Raven, you weren't able to get any further across the rigging because with that shot and the shake, it threw you off just enough. You kept your balance, but you're spending a little bit more time making sure you hold on. You're up there, you're holding on, but you aren't able to actually get further with it. And you can feel the ship still moving, but it's definitely slowed down. You can tell now from the distance to Tem, it's not closing as quick as it was, so you're down a mast, and the back appears to have taken some damage. Garrett and Flint, though, you watch as they have finished up what they were doing, and you are back down the rigging. You're on the deck of the ship.
Alrighty. That's it. Because I was going to do is the second I get down on the deck, I'm going to run back to try to peek over the edge if I can and see what kind of damage happened to the ship.
Full perception check as you rush to the back of the ship, trying and in acrobatics as well.
Well, acrobatics is fine. 19, but with my perception was 7.
All right, as you hop over all of the pieces of debris across the back of the ship, the masts that have fallen, the sails, just to get back there and look, you come up to the railing, but being as small as you are, the railings are still built more at a human size height, so you're not really able to look over the edge. Also, roll me a wisdom check.
13.
Okay, got it. So at that point, Haster, Zangulus, what are you doing now?
Did the helmsman ever pull himself out of the rigging?
You haven't
fell
seen
on
him.
I'm looking for him.
Perception.
Oh, I rolled a 20.
You rolled a 20?
I rolled a 20. I hadn't even looked at my perception bonus. So 25 total.
Well, geez, it's a natural 20. You just have to say natural 20 pretty much. Those are almost auto successes most of the time.
Not always.
So, as you start frantically digging through now trying to find the helmsman, you get through the bits of sail and notice he is there, unconscious under one of the sails, and his leg from about a low part of the calf to the foot is just pinned and trapped underneath the mast there with a pretty decent pool of blood in the area.
If we don't get him out of here soon, I don't think he's going to last very long. He's bleeding pretty bad.
We've got bigger fish to fry. Heal him if you need to, or stop his bleeding. But I gotta go make sure Lady Erethan and the kids are gonna be able to get off this boat. And with that, I'm gonna jump back to go downstairs and tell her to prepare to abandon ship.
Yep, got it. Raven.
Does he have the spyglass on him? Sorry.
Helmsman? No.
Okay.
It's the crow's nest guy.
You didn't see the helmsman with the spyglass. You remember easily enough. It was the guy in the crow's nest that had the spyglass out. Raven, I want a perception check from you.
4.
Okay. Looking out across the water, your attention is caught towards Tem again. And you can see there are a couple of ships out there now as well, closing fast on your direction. It'll take them a little bit to get to you, but they are actually moving in your direction.
Oh.
And they don't appear to be on any sort of angle direct for your ship, but more like they're trying to angle between you and the ship that's after you.
Cool. I'll shout this down. Hey, there's help coming. There's ships coming from Tem. We just need to stick it out a little while longer.
Muted.
Really?
No,
Hi.
me. I was muted.
Aster was muted.
Oh.
As I make my way toward the stairs to go down to get to Lady Erethan, I'm gonna be like, hide the catapults! Put the catapults away!
The crew just kind of looks over at you, shouting that, and goes back to aiming the catapult as much as they can while the ship is swerving. They're trying to aim it towards the back, but the ship is almost dead behind you, and the catapult doesn't really have a way up there. It's more sides. All right.
Useless helmsman doesn't listen. Useless crew doesn't listen.
Well, maybe they're expecting their fearless leader, Thane, to do it.
Yeah.
Raven, athletics.
What's about Thane?
19.
All right, you finish up the rest of what you're doing, and you're able to scramble back down to the deck as well.
Cool.
So you finished up with half of that, the midsail there.
After all of the
mast.
sorry, after all the rocking and craziness of being up in the rigging, I'd kind of bow down and kiss the deck for a second before scurrying off.
Aster,
Deck, sweet deck.
As you're starting down the stairs, and you look over the railing because you hear something. You look down and you notice there is now water on that bottom floor. Not a ton, but there is some water that's down there, and you can hear water starting to rush in at the very, very bottom of the stairs where you didn't go. And down there, you can also hear on that very bottom section screaming, but it isn't perception, actually.
Got a 12.
Okay. Good enough to know it isn't anything like a person, not an elf or a human. It isn't a person screaming, but you can hear the screams of animals from down there.
No.
Okay.
So it appears that the area you didn't check at least had some kind of area housing livestock that were being transported.
Uh-huh. Well,
Right.
fuck.
Up top, you now, the ship has closed in on you real fast. Your ship has slowed down to almost a stop at this point, and you hear another shot go off. Oh, and it's a good thing that Garrett and Flint got down when they did, because this shot comes in, plows directly into the mast that you were just standing on, buries itself into the deck a bit, and now I need dexterity saves from the both of you, and I've got to do it for some of the crew.
I get my advantage, don't I?
15.
Yeah, because you saw it. Danger sense.
Well, all your hard work with the sails, gone.
All
So it's
those
just-
throws.
A straight dexterity?
Yeah, dexterity saving throw.
17.
17, all right. And Garrett, what was your dexterity saving throw?
15.
Okay, just enough for you. You see the shot come in, and noticing that there were explosions off of some of these, that they weren't just a straight ball like that one. This one that buries into the deck now, all of a sudden you hear and see a detonation ripping a hole in the deck. And Haster, I actually need a dexterity save from you as well.
Well, I am not good at those today, so I got a 7.
Okay. Bits of shrapnel go off on the deck below the main deck there. You can hear screaming from the kids' rooms now.
Oh no.
And
Not
you
the
see
children.
Erethin immediately, like, as quick as she possibly can, not even really paying attention to her crutch in the pain, stumbling, but rushing across the hall into the kids' area. You see a hole now up in what was the ceiling of that hallway, and Haster, over the doorway section itself, a blast comes down in and catches you. The crew upstairs, scrambling, jumps out of the way, a couple of them even diving off the ship to avoid the detonation. It catches the edge of the catapult, but doesn't seem to do anything too severe. The crew seem to actually know what they're doing now. They're not just goofing off, and they get out of the way really, really quickly. But Aster, you take another 3 points of damage in the explosion. Flint and Garrett, you dive to the sides as well, noticing the actions of the crew. Flint, you feeling the danger right before it goes off. That new ability to just sense when something bad is going to happen. You get out of the way and you take cover wherever you can find purchase. So now there's a large hole, a second mast down. It came down off the edge of the ship and just tumbled off. It's just the mid-mast now. What are you all doing?
I am close enough to Carrick to shout into his mind, right? Sick though he is.
You can try.
Carrick, wake up, you lazy shit. We need your help. Get down from that crappy bed and help these kids get out of here. Make sure these kids stay safe. You're in no condition to fight, but help the children, damn it.
All right.
Suck it up.
Just quickly, what are your healths at? Who's lost?
I'm
Health.
at 7.
Okay. We're behind on the overlay. Garrett, what's your health?
Still 17. I don't think I've taken any damage.
Yeah, no one else
Everyone's
besides
fighting Haster.
Haster's
Yeah.
the only one that's got hit by anything so far.
I keep failing deck saves with a 7. Unlucky 7s for Haster.
Okay, we're good.
All
Well,
right.
you have 7 health.
It's bad news. I'm about to get killed because I have 7 health.
Haster, out of one of the kids' rooms right now, actually coming out of the second kid room. Aerothan went across straight at the first one. She was in the first room right by the door that just detonated. You can see her coming out with some of the children, and actually at the second one, you can see Carrick already coming out of that room and sort of, whispering to the children and trying to calm them down, and looks over at Aerothan. He's pale. He's got mess down the front of him, but he's toughing through it.
All right, I will whisper into his mind. I'm sorry, I didn't know you were already up. You're the champion. You can do this.
What do you mean you didn't know I was already up? What are you talking about? I can't do his accent, so I gotta work on that.
Do it to it, man. Help keep these kids safe. There's a bunch of animals below. If you can get the kids somewhere safe, too, they might need help. Or at least one animal, some kind of screaming creature.
What? Doesn't matter. And he starts working with Aerothan. Just like, where do we go? And they start to look down, as you mentioned, screaming animal, and see the water coming up, and they went, it's bad either way. Up! And they start heading up to the main deck, and just to
I will
figure
charge
out
out
what
in
might be
front of
safe.
them. Yeah, I'm gonna head in front of them to try to find, like, if there's longboats to escape a sinking ship on.
And with that, Raven, you keeping a lookout, notice one of the ships now that's actually flying the blue and platinum colors that are the main colors of Tem, which is slightly off from the other areas, but you see their sails starting to pull up, and one of the ships actually pulls up near you and drops an anchor immediately, dead stopping itself, sliding kind of at an angle behind your ship, and you can hear the sailors from it shouting, "Come on!" We need to move now, everybody! You're going down!
Okay.
I'm gonna run back to my room and grab my books and remaining items.
Yeah, I'm gonna go run back and grab the rest of my stuff because don't have my armor on or anything.
Yeah.
Grab what I can.
How fast is this water coming up once I've run down and get a chance to take a look at it?
You see it's starting to come in faster, and you can hear the screaming from the bottom has stopped. And the water's all the way up to covering the entire fourth section. It's starting to hit the third.
Shit. Oh well. Take my stuff and leave. Oh, I'm gonna run into the kitchen and grab 2 of those really fancy ass steins too. On my way out. Because it's right by the room.
After telling everyone else not to steal.
Well, now the ship's going down.
That's true.
Roll me a perception check.
You sneaky tentacle.
I got an 18 on the perception check.
Okay. Let me see. When you get to that area and start grabbing the steins, you notice hiding over in the corner and starting to try and sneak his way out the door is the elven male who worked as the bartender in that region, and he is carrying a familiar looking decanter.
Good.
That is, it's the crystal decanter. You can see what's in it. It's completely full.
He's just filled it up with whatever he could.
Or he gave us the different wine.
Yeah.
But you see him taking off out of that area as you're running back to grab a couple of those fancy steins.
Yeah. Well, grab some more shit of value, buddy, if you're taking that.
He doesn't even register anything. He's taking off down the hall.
All right, I'm gonna
What's everyone
follow
else
out
doing?
with him.
Everyone else?
I'm
What are
gonna
you
try to
doing?
wake the helmsman up.
Well, what I'm doing is I'm grabbing everything I can and then grabbing the pot as well and trying to carefully get it back up. If it becomes too difficult, I'm not going to try to save it, but I'm going to try to grab everything I can and get to the ship.
Including your pot of elixir.
Of elixir, yes. And I've got a pack, so I can put most of my stuff in my pack. I just have to carry the pot.
Give me a straight strength check.
Ooh, 22.
Damn.
I'm a strong halfling, especially when I roll a 19.
All right, you're able to get your armor in sort of an awkward through the arms kind of half over the head way. It's not on, but the pieces are strung over you in a way that you're able to balance it and hold the weight of it, along with the pot, which you've got in front of you, and you get back to the stairs carrying all of this gear, along with your large pot of pink goo.
Of virile minotaur elixir.
Yeah.
Pink goo. Zangulus, what are you doing?
I'm trying to wake the helmsman.
That's right.
So
As you sit
taking
there and
him-
try, roll me a medical check.
it's pretty good. 20.
Damn. All right.
Not natural.
You know outright that he is definitely unconscious. He is bleeding out, and you will absolutely need to find a way to stabilize him to get him up and moving.
I'm going to cast my second heal then. Oh, max 13.
All right. Focusing down on him the same as... Are you... How are
Heal!
you healing?
By Sayune! Just friggin' heal!
Without really doing the massaging and just more focusing and forcing this time, you still say by Sayune, but you find the wounds healing. Not having to massage him. They just heal when you focus on it.
Oh, that's convenient.
So you focus down and immediately he snaps to. And he starts screaming as he notices his foot is off.
Shut up.
It's sealed. He's not bleeding, but it's gone.
It's gonna be a peg leg.
Yeah. Shut up. Boat's sinking. Somebody's shooting at us. We need to get you out of here right now. Stop freaking out.
Shooting? Oh, fuck. And he tries to get up and sort of stumbles.
I'm gonna help him up.
Okay,
Yeah.
and he throws his arm up around you, and you're able to get him up. He's sort of holding on his left leg. His right is the one that's off. Gets up there. Where to? And then he notices the other ship with the other sailors now. It's brought itself alongside, and they're throwing planks across to yours, screaming for you to get on. You see the second ship actually comes past and gets in the way between their ship and yours. And roll, who's on the top deck right now?
I am.
Myself.
Roll me perception checks.
15.
10.
10.
When you notice it, Raven, not so much because you weren't looking up above from before, but you do notice that the planks seem to be sturdy and they know what they're doing, and the ship is starting to actually move towards the back. The front is starting to lift up, and they're trying to get people off as quick as they can. Flint, you notice it above you, and you can now see those rectangular patterns that the others noticed in the sky, and they're much closer now. There's an odd color pattern to them, and you notice it. There's tassels on the corner. They seem to be almost made of fabric, and there's somebody sitting on top of each one, and they've got a small piece of wood out, and both of them are closing the distance on the ship that's coming up behind you now, which has started to turn, and they're aiming down with those pieces of wood. And as you see that at the last second, you see two little flecks of red light come off of each of those. Well, no way to put it around it. They're fucking flying carpets up there. So they come in, they aim both of their pieces of wood down. You see two little beams of red light come down, and then off in the distance, nothing for a second. And then all of a sudden, spinning out of thin air, a giant fireball appears on two sides of that ship. You see part of one of their sails catch fire as the detonations go off. Boom, boom. The other ship that is pulled up to sort of barricade itself and block to get everyone off and provide cover launches a rock up into the air, firing it off of a catapult. You see it heading towards that ship, but it goes just short, lands in the water, splashing water up, putting out a little bit of the fire that's on their sails, and you can see the ship with the symbol of Thin Gain on it turning and starting to head back more towards open sea.
Bastards.
What's everyone doing?
I'm trying to get to the other ship as fast as possible with everything.
All right,
Yeah,
acrobatics for you, Garrett.
10.
Okay. Roll me a dex check. Just straight up dexterity now.
14.
As you're getting up there and there's the hole in the deck, the splinters of wood, the ship is actually starting to tip this direction. You aren't fully able to keep your footing, and down the pot goes while trying to hold on to your armor. So you still got your armor and the rest of your stuff, but the pot, you couldn't hold on to it with the angle of the ship now, and it just goes spilling all across the deck.
All right. Well, I pick up the pot and what's left of the stuff inside the pot, because I'm sure not all of it is out, and I continue to carry it out.
Okay, yeah,
Could have
you've got it.
scraped the inside of the.
There's a tiny bit left in the bottom, an eighth of maybe what was in there, but there's still a little bit, because remember, you dropped it on an angle this way, so the pot.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, it's gelatin almost, so it's not gonna like all roll out.
Yeah, you've got about an eighth in there. You look real quick. There's an eighth left in the bottom, but a good chunk of it spilled out. So, Flip, what are you doing?
So where are the kids? Can I see the kids?
You can see them starting to huddle in the doorway up at the top. They're still trying to keep the roof cover there, but now that they've noticed the ship, Aerith and Carrick are starting to usher them out. and they're kind of out in the open, but they're maneuvering just fine around the torn up deck and keeping their footing as they're heading back, but the ship is really starting to... It's really listing.
Well, I run over, and starting with the smallest and working up in size, I pick up as many children as my arms can carry.
Roll me a strength check, just straight up strength.
So we have a... Although, where's my... 16.
All right, you grab one of them, put him up on your shoulders, so he's sort of just grabbing onto your forehead now, one under each arm, lift him up, and you've got them under your arms and you're starting to book it.
Okay, and
Marcus comes over, seeing that, does similar, and he's got 2 under each arm, being as big as he is, just bundled together, and one up around him, and that's actually all 8 of the children that were there.
Okay, and take them across to the ship.
All right. Acrobatics from you, and for Marcus. Marcus goes bounding past you easily, even though he's carrying all this weight. This guy is big, and he's built to carry stuff. He gets across the plank quickly. Carrick and Aerothin seeing this now, Carrick starts helping her as she's moving even slower, having pushed herself, and you can see blood starting to run down her side now. They get about halfway down the ship before they both lose their footing and start to slide a little bit and have to take time to get back up.
Oh, sorry, 18.
18? All right. So for you were able to just as easily, almost as Marcus, though a little bit slower being a dwarf, carry the other 3 children, and you get them across to the other ship as people are shouting and motioning, "Come on!"
Yeah, I'm just gonna head on off the ship now, because there doesn't seem to be anybody else who needs my help getting off the ship. So
All right. Roll me a quick acrobatics.
I got a 16.
All right, with ease, without really having to worry about anyone else at that point, and having gathered up your stuff real quick, you're up and out, getting across one of the planks that they put across the ships, even though they're starting to tip and slide down. The angle's getting a little tough to maintain. You get across to the other ship quickly, and without problem. Zangulus, I need a dex from, or an acrobatics from you as well to try and actually. Athletics. Let's make this athletics, because you're also going to carry him, or help carry him.
Well, if it stayed acrobatics, it wouldn't have been too bad, but athletics, it's a 4.
Trying to lift him up, he's leaning on you heavier than you want, and in doing so, he's slowed you way down, so you're able to help him get over there, and in doing so, sort of pushes himself off of you, knocking you to the deck, as water is actually starting to now push up towards the back of the ship as the angle's getting steeper and steeper. But he scrambles across before one of the planks now goes down into the water and starts to get sucked down next to the ship there. Aerothin and Carrick now with a resurgence of energy and seeing the danger of the situation, you see him choke something down real quick, grabs Aerothin, and with strength even you, Raven, haven't really seen out of Carrick before, pulls her up and just sacks her up over the shoulder, gets up on the railing, runs down it, I natural 20'd this, runs down the railing real quick and doesn't even use the plank and just hops to the other ship, using that short gap right at the bow of the ship and your stern. Just uses the short gap and up and over with her there, and then puts her down quickly and gently there. Who's still on the ship right now?
I think it's me.
Master, you're across. Zangulus,
I am.
you're starting to fall. Raven and Garrett. All right, all of you need to make dexterity saves now.
17.
Okay.
18.
18.
Flint, you're across, so.
I rolled 18.
Aster and
I'm across.
you're across. Okay. That's right. You ran across on your own. So, Zangulus.
10.
All right. You're able to keep your footing, both Raven and Garrett now. And Garrett, you're still holding on to this pot, but you're able to get pretty close to the other ship. And with effort of someone reaching down now to grab on across the railings and help pull you over. Spilling out just a little bit more as the pot tips, being dragged up over the edge. Don't forget you have your water skin. Raven, you're up and over that edge, just grabbing the forearm. They pull you up and over. Zangulus, you start to climb towards them to get to the next ship, and now you're dangling off the edge of the railing as the ship really starts to tip and you hear cracking coming from the middle.
All right, I put down my water skin and turn back to see if there's anybody else who needs help.
Looking back across the ship, the rest of the crew is now across on there, and the one remaining person you see is Zangulus left on the ship there.
I dropped everything.
The helmsman.
I dropped everything off of my back, and I go back across to try to grab Zangulus. So I don't have anything weighting me down. Everything's on the rest.
As he goes, I'm gonna throw some rope to him. Like, hold on to this. Just grab.
Is the helmsman okay?
Helmsman made it.
Helmsman made it. Okay.
Yeah. The reason you fell down was because he kind of used you as leverage.
Yeah. Thanks.
Because he screwed you.
Yeah.
All right. I need dexterity from Haster. I need acrobatics from you, Garrett, and I need another dexterity save from you, Zangulus.
12.
Oh, God. Okay. I'm rolling really bad. 9.
I just threw a rope in the water for no reason. I got a 3. Well, I got 5 total, but...
Haster, you go, here! And you toss the rope, and it just falls directly down the side of the ship. So it's just sitting there on the side of the small, much smaller Tem ship, the Temanian ship there, sitting there. So you've just got rope dangling there.
You know what? Never mind. Me and rope aren't friends.
Garrett, you decide to ignore the rope and you get across, but now you're holding on as well. And with the extra little bit of assistance you're giving Zangulus now, Zangulus, you're able to continue to hold on to where you are, but you don't manage to get purchase and further back up. So now, Garrett, athletics, Zangulus. Well. Garrett, athletics first.
9?
So, can I see this debacle happening?
You can see this happening. You see Garrett trying to pull Zangulus up and just unable to find purchase as you hear louder and louder cracking starting to happen across the ship, and now you're seeing a line start to go.
I'm gonna dash over and help.
All right, acrobatics from you, Flint.
Acrobatics would be 13.
You're able to get across. There's still a short distance, but now getting across, I want you to do athletics for me to see if you can find a good purchase to hold on without slipping.
Okay, so 21.
Getting across was easy. You're able to reach up with your hand, and now you're just a little bit above where Garrett is because the ship is starting to go in a vertical way, and you hear from across on the other side someone shouting out at you. That middle? Yeah, it's gonna go. We need to get the fuck out of here now!
Alright.
Trying.
I am I am going to try to summon my unseen servant to grab the other end of the dangling rope and just swim it over to them on the top of that boat as it goes down, in case it goes down. That way, at least the rope will be useful somehow.
Okay. You're able to summon the unseen servant. It floats over. Rope's no problem for it. It grabs it and it starts taking it over to the ship where they are as they're starting to slide, and you see the crack now coming from both sides towards that center cargo area that you knew about, Raven. The one that they're now screaming and shouting about as the crack comes closer and closer to it. Flint, roll me athletics. You'll do it first. And Garrett, you'll also roll athletics for this.
Okay.
Better.
15.
14 on my side.
All right. Between the two of you, you're able to grab Zangulus and pull him up from the dangling position so he's got purchase. All three of you acrobatics.
Ooh. 19.
17.
Ooh.
Finally.
20 modified.
The three of you from that point all jump off of the ship that's starting to go down and crack across the middle and sink. Reach the other ship that had come in, get aboard, and you see someone immediately throw his hand up in there like that. You hear the anchor coming up quickly. And then from up above on the carpet that you noticed before as they're sitting there, you see someone swing around and throw his hand up, and you feel a strong gale force wind of blasted air just around your ship throw you off in a direction away from the ship that was going down, the one that Thane or Ollie had given you use of. As you see yourself going clear, you see the person on the carpet start to turn around and try to turn around, but as the ship cracks in half at that moment, and you were seriously one turn away from really bad shit happening. I had a turn counter going. As you see it crack in half, you notice tendrils of black start to come out of that cargo area. Start to wrap around now what is a ball in the center as the ship falls around it. But as the ship starts to fall, instead of sinking into the water, you see it start to lift back up and pull back up as pieces are now pulled into this central area as the carpet tries to pull itself away and fly away. We'll see if he's able to. You see the carpet start to drag backwards, and the person riding on it leaps off as fast as they can, and now they're flying in air themselves, heading towards the other carpet. You see the carpet pulled backwards towards this. The ship pulled up into this central area as it spins faster and faster, and then turns into this small dot and just winks out of existence.
The hell was on that ship?
It was a ship of holding, apparently.
Oh.
It had like an endless cargo bay or something. They were telling me about it.
That seems awfully dangerous to sail around the world in. I'd put something like that in a vault myself.
That'd be a big vault.
This is Ollie we're talking about.
But it'd be a small vault.
This is the kind of God who likes to bring the party everywhere.
So much magical mumbo jumbo happening. Why can't we just go back to the old days, just hitting each other over the head with axes?
We still do that, Clint. This is why you're here.
I'm gonna turn and find somebody who's dressed appropriately for this boat, like they work on this boat, and extend my gratitude for the rescue.
You're in trouble, you're in Temanian waters, and well, let's just say Yizgrim is not welcome. It'll be fine, we're headed back to Tem now, and we'll arrive there within the next 30 minutes or so. All of you rest. We'll be to the capital soon. And that's where we're going to end this week's episode, with the ship being torn apart about 30 minutes out from the capital on a Tem ship.
Yell at people.
See, we almost had our own ship.
Almost.
I'm glad we didn't name it,
Grakees.
because that loss would have been even more painful.
I was
Yeah.
ready to have the biggest argument with you over what to name it, and then we didn't even get to do that.
I was so hoping that you would name it first, and then I was gonna sink it.
I was like, when we got together that morning, that was my plan. Like, let's name the ship. But then you decided to shoot cannonballs at us.
Except your characters don't know what the hell that was getting shot at you. That's why I kind of went, ha, when Flint was like, does it have cannons on this? It's like, you have no idea what cannons are, but I'm going to introduce you to them. That was what was in the back of my head.
Got explosive charges too, which is a foregone conclusion of having cannonballs. So.
Yep, some of it's
I do
straight
remember.
shot, some of it is explosive, but to you it's all like new magic. Like, how in the hell are they throwing this crap at us with puffs of smoke and
Yeah.
thunder?
Yeah.
Practical knowledge of, our world. Of course, they're cannons, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody knew what the hell those things were. They're new.
Some kind of a iron launching magic wand.
Yes.
Or
Ugly,
a very,
ugly
very,
magic that has a big
very,
puff of
very,
smoke.
a very, 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 very angry and very, very, very talented giant who is throwing iron balls very, very fast.
That would be an
Well-
interesting weapon on a ship. The giant monk who hurls
Suck it. You
cannonballs.
ended that 2 seconds too soon, damn it.
Mm.
2 seconds.
I like what Morgulus said. I'm just looking at chat now. All the rope and no one dead. It's a good time for this party.
It's a good day.
We all almost died, okay, with that last one. Well, me and Zangulus and Flint almost died at the end.
Yeah.
Also, I was saving that fucking ridiculous concoction that I made.
Our fleecing juice.
Our fleecing juice. I'm just gonna add water to what we have and dilute it a little bit.
You have an entire water skin worth.
Yeah, I'm gonna make that last to like 3 water skins. Okay, I'm making me some money.
Isn't that like
His character? It's Garrett's character. He was a con man
What
before
the-
he became a holy man. That's what he
Grogbot's
does.
in my channel now. What's Grogbot doing here?
Flint
Yeah,
Rock.
he raided? He raided the channel because people were asking for grog and ale earlier. So
So Grog
Nice.
showed up to say some stuff.
yeah.
That's interesting that you can do that. That's pretty cool.
Well, I had to tweak a couple of things and turn off some modules, but yeah, I just changed the channel name to your name when they sent him in there.
I was gonna say, Brock, I could probably bring my bot into here too. Same concept.
like
Grog kept
Grogbot.
on getting he kept getting zapped though because a bunch of his things like posted links and bring in bot would.
And he doesn't have enough hours yet.
He was like, no, Grog, you shall not post link.
So Grog and Brianodon were fighting each other.
Yes.
I like how the uptime command has 3 bots responding to it.
Yeah, and mine just says this might work one day.
One command, 3 things. Hopefully everyone enjoyed today's episode out there, though.
Would have
Little
enjoyed
bit
it
of
more if I
sea
wasn't
battle.
sick, but it was still fun.
Yeah.
If folks are wondering why I keep looking over that way, I have the channel on a big TV.
Hi, me!
Yeah, hi, ass.
Stream
Aw.
section.
Yeah.
Streaming me,
Wait,
streaming me.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you turn that back and leave it long enough, it'll show the window in the window in the window in your corner.
It will. Myself will disappear.
So yes, we have to get ready for a podcast coming up after this. So look
I had
forward
to
to
run and grab some
that.
food.
And
What time are you starting at?
It starts in about 45 minutes, so you've got plenty of time to go out. But I want a couple minutes. Need a couple minutes to get everything set up. So
Okay, cool.
All right, so we're going to be heading out now, and from us to you, we'll see you next week for more bad rolls.
Bye.
later, guys.